I do think that's part of it. Like they had an arbitrator. You know, the NFL did not, the owners basically, did not like that the grades were coming out.
Yeah.
And so they filed, they have a arbitration clause in their contract. If there's a disagreement about the collective bargaining agreement, then they go to an arbitrator. And the ruling was that, yes, putting these grades out was disparaging for the NFL, and therefore the players would have to not do it. And they immediately leaked them out.
Yeah.
This is literally days, like a couple of weeks after this thing came down.
What leaked out was just the letter grades I was reading today. Now, the individual comments about those didn't get out, but the letter grades did.
The letter grades did, and to me,
everything was covered under that grievance, that ruling.
And I don't even know if it was leaked out, if they were just like, okay, we see that ruling as, okay, you didn't like the player quotes. But the letter grades are not disparaging. They're just a scientific poll taken, you know, by our members as to what they think of their working conditions.
Yeah.
You know? And listen, I get it. If you own a business right now and you gave your employees that chance, do you think you'd get an A on everything?
No.
Probably not.
No.
You know, like would you, hey, and I don't even know what categories we would have around here, but you know, equipment. Like we joke around about it. And I would much rather have all of us working than have the most state-of-the-art, you know, microphone setup right here. I am good with it. But if you said, give me a letter grade on the studio setup, you know, when it was built, was an A. Now, B minus, C plus. The studio's fine, but, you know, the microphones and all that, how they are, like, oh, this will fall off or whatever. But it is a little bit of the charm of working at A10. But so I get it. I don't think anybody would want their business graded by their employees because I think the employees, first of all, you're an employee. You always think you can do everything better. You probably can't. And if you could really do it better, you would. Go start your own company and go do it. Right? But that every employee thinks things should be better. And so I don't think anybody wants to hear their employees lay out, here's all the places you're not so good.
Every year for almost a decade, at the end of the year, I do an event for the Kansas City Business Journal. It's the best places to work in the city. And they're all glowing, and I'm sure they are. But I guarantee you, every one of those places, there's at least one person who works there who's like,
yeah,
I wish this didn't happen. Why does this happen?
I wish the kitchen, you know, had a bigger fridge, or I wish we had better vending snacks. Or, you know, everybody's got a rub. Everybody's got a gripe of some sort. So I get the owners not wanting to put it out there, but like the Chiefs moved from 31 to 26. Why do you think that was? I think it's because Clark Hunt and the Chiefs organization were embarrassed that they were consistently the boss comes by and goes, What? Yeah, tell him. It was me.
I didn't say anything. Nice tie, Chad.
Yeah, perfect, yeah.
Love that shirt.
But, you know, so I think the NFL was like, hey, the Chiefs were like, I don't like looking like this. So they got better. Now, they didn't fix everything. Locker room, F. D- on travel.
And the locker room, from what I can tell, is not the in-stadium. It's the one at the facility.
Right, at the practice facility. And there is an element of, like, I don't know, did anybody fly out of the old KCI before they tore it down? Like, how much money are you going to put into something that you're not planning on being here for long? Yeah. They did build a new players' lounge for the players. They did start a daycare. But would they have done that without this survey? Now, you can ask the question, and I think it's a fair point. Do you really need to be providing daycare for millionaires? Can't they hire a nanny? Can't they? That's a valid point.
Yeah.
It's very valid. Ask somebody who's not making the league minimum $400,000 or $500,000 what daycare costs. Yeah. When they go to work, their place of business doesn't give them, you know, what to do. So
ask a single parent who can't afford daycare
exactly.
or has to miss work because their kid gets sick. They don't have anyone to keep.
Or a couple where one of the parents stays home because basically they'd just be working for the cost of daycare and whatever their field is. So they live without. They live on one income instead of two because that's how much daycare costs.
That's a huge portion of this country.
So listen, I hear you. I want to be clear. I hear you on that. Like, but you're not, in all likelihood, one of the 1,000, what is it, maybe About 1,700.
That's about right. Yeah.
Best in the world at what you do. There's probably none of us that really can say that. NFL players can, right? It's an elite few. And while I get it, that, it's a valid point to say, what are they're complaining about the dining hall? Like, I wish I had a dining hall. I got to make a lunch every day when I go to work. I get it. I really do. I completely get anybody saying these players are out of line with the money they make, complaining about anything. They should be happy with the paycheck and go home. Got it. Fair point. Okay? Now, I want you to put yourself in your line of work and say, like I said, is there anything you'd like better at your company? I don't care how much money you make. You could always use more. And I don't care how great you got it, you'll probably come up with something you think could be better. And that's the line that a business has to walk. Well, what do we need to give them to be happy and fruitful, but not just throwing money away? Like if we had a masseuse that come in here and rub our neck every day while we did the show, fantastic.
Yeah.
Would love it. Can't justify that expense to the bottom line for this company, right? So that's the art of management. Here's my point to the Chiefs, though. You'd like to think it wouldn't take a survey, and here's my point to all the owners. Why compete and get an A? Or don't, and deal with it.
Right.
But you make the choices, and you should have thick enough skin. This kind of comes back to a little bit of what we played. I love the comment, and we ended up talking about it longer than I was planning on, but what Jay Billis said about you're in a multi-billion-dollar entertainment industry, okay? This is what you do. Are you going to skip? You want your actors, if you're in the acting world, looking tired and feeling like crap because you won't secure the shoot spot for a week and they're working way too long and they look like crap and they feel like crap and they're not? No. I mean, there's a right way and a wrong way, right? And so, to me, the Chiefs wouldn't have a lounge. They wouldn't have a daycare if they weren't shown to be one of the few teams that didn't provide that. And furthermore, while I don't know that you have to strive to get an A in all these categories, we know that the Chiefs are known that they don't give the same kind of bonuses that other teams do. So if you're not going to win monetarily, try to win someplace else. Yeah. Whatever the cost of daycare is, I'll bet the cost of running a daycare on game days for your players is significantly less than it takes to outbid for a top tackle.
Yeah.
And if this makes everybody happy, this gets your people to want to re-sign, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
And by the way, you're a billionaire. Could you take a little grief? I mean, a little,
yeah.
Especially when it's honest.
Yeah, they didn't make up those things about you.
I mean,
that's their honest opinion of it.
Like, how much money do you have to have? Like, I want all the money, but I want everybody to say I'm great too. I mean,
sorry.
What? Then give all your money away. Dave gave his money away. You know what I did? I said Dave was great because he was. So if what you seek is affirmation of your greatness, then do something great. Okay? Then give away $1 billion. You want to know who's great? Paul Allen. They're selling the Seahawks, and it's all going to charity. That's a great man. That is unbelievable. Okay? They're talking about $10 or $11 billion for the Seattle Seahawks. It's going to charity. So I can't, well, I get the players are incredibly, incredibly blessed.
Yeah.
To play a game and to make the money they make.
To have a skill set that allows you to make the money you make at this time in the history of the world.
But let the great American prophet Chris Rock remind you again. Okay? Shaq is not wealthy. Shaq is rich. The guy who signs Shaq's check is wealthy. So I don't understand the psyche of the owners of spending the time to piss and moan with your labor force while you are getting unbelievably wealthy because they did a survey and pointed out your weaknesses. They simply told the truth as they see it. You don't have to travel better. you don't have to provide daycare. But you don't get to tell everybody, even your employees, that they got to kiss your ass and they got to say you're great at everything you do. I just, like, it's so small of you. You're the man. We know you're the man. We watched the NFL on 11, I heard this the other day, I assume it's true, 11 different platforms. 11! We chase your ass around. We have to subscribe to things. We pay your money. And we pay you money because we love how they play. The players. How they perform. That's why the money is there. So I don't really give a flying fart if you give a daycare to the Chiefs players or not. But I think it's embarrassing. And Clark Hunt, I don't know, he may have been the one owner that's like, hey, look, we can do better. And I don't want to be messing around with this. I don't care. Guilt by association at the very least. How 32 billionaires decided they couldn't handle. It's literally the only bad press they ever get. What else is ever said negatively about the NFL?
We don't get enough of it.
I mean,
that'd be it. You want more.
You take games and put them in other markets. There are people here, like Jazzu J is pissed every time the Chiefs' home game gets moved someplace else. He wants that game here. You do everything you can to squeeze every nickel out of the industry. And along the way, you can either choose to make your employees happy, and they will say, yeah, not only are we rich, he's really rich, and you know what? He really takes care of us. Or you can gobble up even more money, and just hear that you don't like it. But I think the fact, and I don't know why this didn't hit me when they had this deal, but it just hit me. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I guess it was watching the Chiefs react to it and go, yeah, we can do better. That made me go, you know what? The good came from this. From a player's perspective,
yeah.
Good came from this. And by the way, I don't care how much money you make, having quality daycare, I'm glad that even rich people can get quality daycare.
Yes.
I would like children to be taken care of. So, and listen, let's be honest too. They make a lot of money. We also know a lot of them crap it all away. So now at least we know these kids are being looked after on game days. That's not a bad thing. I know what you're going to be like. You got to be I know. You should be able to pay for it. Agreed. But whatever frustrations you would have towards a player for saying like, hey, we like to have daycare. Think of the guy who pays all of them and literally that money could be taken, what it costs to run the daycare, 20 Sundays or however, the 10 home games a year, playoff games. You literally could take that out of their account and they would never know it. They would never even know. Their net worth fluctuates at a rate that is tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars every single day. If you watch your 401k and it went up $436 today or $137 or $14,000 or $67,000, imagine what that is. I was like, you got to be kidding me. You really got your panties in a bunch over the fact that the players are like, you could be better. Oh, and they had their quotes too. They dared to speak. It's petty. It's petty. That's it. That's my spiel on it. That being said,
good spiel.
Does it affect winning? The winning teams are all up and down that list on the grades.
If the Dolphins are number one back-to-back years, they haven't done anything.
They haven't done squat.
I think it might be 3 straight years. It's at least back-to-back years.
But, the A-pluses, the Ravens weren't in the playoffs. They were one of the top teams. So, I don't know. I would think you'd want to create happy employees. I think happy employees will make you better. The fact that you employ some of the most, what would you say, high-priced employees, maybe some of the most coddled employees, well, that's the field you chose to work in. You think actors are all into themselves? Well, if you don't want to deal with actors, then don't become a movie company. And if you don't want to deal with spoiled and coddled athletes, don't own a football team. But otherwise, that's it. This is the cost of doing business.
The program with Soren Petro.
I don't got a lot of time to scour the defensive metrics, especially when I'm trying to catch up with Ted Lasso.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We've got beautiful weather right now, so why not fire up that grill? You know how it starts. It starts by getting to your neighborhood hen house. All kinds of great specials always going on at hen house. See them all at henhouse.com. How about boneless, skinless chicken breasts? Raised right in Ozark Mountain Country. That's in our backyard. They're just $2.99 a pound. That's a savings of $1.30 per pound. Like I said, perfect for meal prep, dinners, whatever you want. Get it on the grill today. How about if you're planning something special? How about some wonderful seafood? The best kept secret at Hen House is their incredible selection of fresh seafood back at the meat counter. Check out some of the lobster claws. That's right, uncooked lobster claws and arms are just $13.99 a pound. And they have all kinds of wonderful seafood options. Like how about the Seabest Sway Filet, 16-ounce packages? They're only $3.49 a pound. You're saving over $2. Look, light and flaky, perfect for a quick, healthy meal. That's what you get. Everybody's trying to do healthy, so why not some wonderful seafood back at the meat counter at your neighborhood hen house? And don't forget the Conecuh smoked sausage. Selected 16-ounce varieties, just $5.99 a pound. A wonderful, bold flavor that's perfect on the grill or in your favorite recipes. Look, you can find all these specials at henhouse.com. So hurry up right now and save at your neighborhood hen house. Serving my family my entire life. Serving Kansas City for over 100 years. Fresh quality, friendly service, and savings you'll love all month long at your neighborhood hen house.
Hey guys, it's Todd Lebo, and we're out and about today having a good time at the Big Buck and Outdoor Show at Bartle Hall. It's open tonight until 8. We'll be here till 4 o'clock. Tomorrow it's open as well, and Sunday 10 to 4. Over 200 vendors, professional outfitters, the best deer hunting, big game hunting, whatever you want to do, they've got it here. You can meet experts to help you out, get some excursions, different things you'd like to do, all kinds of ATVs, hunting apparel, blinds, gun accessories, all the stuff, and they got a big buck contest going on as well. Bring your rack down and enter, and this is a lot of fun. You can come down here. It's a great family event. Kids 16 and under get in for free. That's right, 16, not like 3-year-olds. 16 and under get in for free, and if you stop by your local Hy-Vee, you can pick up a free ticket that way as well. That will work for today and for Sunday. That's at your local Hy-Vee. Get more information at mobigbuckshow.com for full details. That's mobigbuckshow.com. We're going to have a good time down here having fun until 4 o'clock.
All right, let's talk a little college basketball here. What's at stake this weekend for the local schools? For K-State, what's at stake is will their temp stop celebrating the guy they're having a lawsuit with?
3 for 3.
I mean,
Ixnay on the Arome Tang J.
yeah. Let's give me 5, Kyle. This is Matthew Driscoll, once again, in his post-game press conference, talking about a guy who was nowhere to be found on that night at the game.
The resiliency that these guys have shown over these 10 days, starting with Houston, in the way in which Coach presented what was transpiring as the genuine good human being that he is on Sunday when the transition took place, and then the way they reacted against Baylor, and then 13th Texas Tech on the road, and then coming to Colorado, who, by the way, they're a really, really good team. They played really, really well together.
Keeps calling it the transition. He got fired. You took over.
Yeah, I mean,
there's not going to be a 30 for 30 about this.
Like,
there might actually. Think about it, the bizarre nature of it.
Is anybody paying attention to this guy in Manhattan? I don't mean you fans.
Yeah.
I mean, like, administration.
Yeah. I'm starting to see for the first time people who cover the team who aren't fan accounts are like, he's not helping them right now.
Yes. I mean,
it's a legitimate question to ask them, why are you allowing this?
Well, it makes me wonder how many people were actually how many people are on board with the decision to let Tang go?
Yeah.
Does he have people within the administration that are saying the same thing?
Go ahead.
Listen, Jerome Tang, by all accounts, is a really good guy. That is great. And, I think that's an important part, and everybody should strive to be that. But this is, let's be clear, it's nothing more than a business. Let's talk about what it is. All right? At college athletics at the highest level is a business. And not just for the kids, for the universities as well. And so I think at some point you would direct your employees to be acting in the best interest of the business.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything at stake for K-State. God bless them. Go play hard. I think you've got kids that are trying out for paydays next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you've got eligibility, that's what this is. You're putting tape together for wherever you're going to hit in the portal. And that might be right there in Manhattan, Kansas. Probably not, though. Probably not. I'll be surprised if there's more than a couple of guys that make it past this. What's at stake for the Missouri Tigers in this weekend at Mississippi State?
To me, this is, it's the most winnable game of the three. I think, I've mentioned this once or twice, 2-1 of the last three, I think, puts them in a position where I don't think they'll have to do anything else to get in.
They don't have to win.
Yeah, I don't think they have
when
to
they
win
go
the
to
game
the
in Nashville.
tournament.
Because if they go 2-1 and then win a game 3-2, I think would not only get them in, but I think 3-2 easily keeps them off the 11 line, which I think is important because you don't want to have to play a play-in game. And of all the games you're likely to play, this is probably no worse than the second easiest. Even though they're a game, Mississippi State's better. I think Oklahoma is a more dangerous team than Mississippi State is. I think this is the one you got to take care of. You lose this, and you have to win at Oklahoma and then beat Arkansas at home to get that 2-1. And I don't think they're likely to do that. This is the game you got to grab this one now. You grab this one now, you're feeling pretty good. Hey, let's just go win at Oklahoma. And if that happens, then you think, well, we're playing with house money to a degree. Maybe you're a little looser in Arkansas, and you things fall the way that you need to. But it starts with not letting the one go tomorrow.
I don't think there's any one loss that's really going to club their standing.
Yeah.
But multiple losses will be a problem.
Every game they lose means they got to win a game that they probably aren't favored to win, or don't have as good a chance to win.
I do look at the teams that are on the bubble, and we may end up being shocked at how high Missouri gets seeded.
Could be.
I mean, this could be a master class in scheduling.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody keeps talking about there were 6 and 12 teams in the SEC that made the tournament last year. Well, the SEC was better last year. That's for one. I don't think there's going to be a 6-12 SEC team this year.
They don't have a great team. Florida has the possibility, but that's it.
What I think's at stake is win this game, and you've really got a chance to, like I said, have momentum.
Yeah.
And I think you've got a chance to actually start building yourself to where you could get, like, what do you think's the highest seed they could get if they won the SEC tournament? They win out and win the SEC tournament, which would take, what, 4 games?
Yeah. Highest, 7.
Or would it be 3? Are they only playing 3?
If they win out, then they would not play in the first round, so they'd win 3 there.
3 there, okay. So if they went 6-0,
it'd be 4 before because they get 1 bye, but the other teams get a double bye, so there'd be quarters, second round, quarters, semifinals, final. It'd be 4 wins.
Okay, so if they would finish 7-0, what seed can they be?
7.
I think they
6.
get higher than that.
Maybe 6.
I think they get to 6.
6, possibly.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think for sure
yeah,
they're at 6.
You're going.
You win the SEC tournament, you're going to get. That means you've gone through Florida and Arkansas. I think you could knock on the door of a 4. I mean,
possible.
That's so.
Yeah.
But that is winning out.
Yeah.
So that is, I think, probably unattainable.
Yeah.
But it's on the table if you win out. And as much as these games on Ken Palm say that they're tough games, 51% to win this Mississippi State game, but then 39 or 41 or 2, and then 38 or something, I think, with the Arkansas game, even though it's at home. There's none of these 3 teams do you look at and go, oh, I don't know how we, can't beat them. You look at these 3 teams and go, well, based upon what we've seen from Missouri, they're probably they're going to go. I'd put the over under at 1.5. Right? That's and we can tilt the line whichever way the money goes, but I'd put it at 1.5. I think that's what you feel like. 1-2 or 2-1 is the most likely outcome. 0-3 and 3-0 are very unlikely, right? But I do think we talk about what's there. I think that's got to be the carrot you put in front of Missouri, and I do think that they're really kind of finding themselves, and we're seeing how they want to play basketball. Now, can Dennis Gates elevate them? Can he get them to really guard and really defend? We know that's been a problem at times, that they just want to take it out of the net and go. I think that this is where you got to start locking down. Go on the road, lock down Mississippi State, and I think you start to build that momentum at the right time.
Because if 2-1 has a good opportunity, if you go 2-1, you have a chance to get into the double bye because if you do that, Tennessee's got their home games, but they take on Alabama and Vanderbilt, 2 good teams. Vandy's got 3 road games. If you can get tied with those 2, you're going to win the head-to-head, I think, there. You've beaten both of them. And you've got to maybe you get to that 4 and you don't have to play anybody in the first 2 rounds. But I think that's big. I'd like to get them make sure they get. I don't really want the 9 seed though. I mean, if 10 for what's reasonable. 10 would be where I'd want to be because you
don't want a 1 in the second round.
I don't want a 1 in the second round. I'll fiddle with a 2. The difference between a 7 and an 8 isn't as great as the difference between a 1 and a 2 maybe. Yeah,
I do get that, but I think you put your foot on the gas and you try to get past the 8-9.
Yeah. But if they win the next 2, and again to that we're talking about what's at stake tomorrow. Win that one and win at Oklahoma, you got a chance to go 3-0. And if you go 3-0, you're definitely not playing those first 2 nights.
Yeah, because I don't think any of like you said, I don't think
the other 2 teams. I don't think.
Well,
Tennessee's
one you put a loss on Arkansas.
Yeah, and then Tennessee, they'd have to. I don't think they're going 3-0. It's possible, but they would put. Yeah, I think Arkansas is a little bit ahead of them. Yeah, I think they're 2 games up. So, but they can catch. They would be past Vanderbilt and they could catch Tennessee. So that would. But you can't do that if you don't win tomorrow. Lose tomorrow, then you're like, crap. Now we got to go 2-1. You've got to win. You got to win both. Or if you go 1-2, you run the risk of having to play the first night, not even getting the first bye.
What is the value for Kansas? What's at stake for the Jayhawks, Kyle, with the Arizona game? I mean, I think do you already have that down as a loss?
No.
You don't?
No.
No.
I know it's going to be tough, and Kansas is 8.5-point dogs?
Yeah, you see Kansas sweeping Arizona?
No, I don't.
Okay, so you already have it down as a loss.
I didn't say that. I'm going to go in there with some optimism and some blind faith, maybe, sure. But, yeah, no, I do expect them to lose. But, I mean, if they take out Arizona, however they do it, they've got a chance at the Big 12 title, although I understand it's not likely.
What seed is Kansas if they win out? Because that's the peak of what they can accomplish. So if they go 3-0, they beat Arizona. Arizona still has to play Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are the one team, I think, if they've got a head-to-head sweep over Arizona, and the two of them are the only ones with 4 losses, does Houston definitely have a loss? No. That's the problem. I think you're probably in a three-way.
It's a really
three-way tie with Houston because they have Colorado, Baylor, and at Oklahoma State. And then Iowa State has Texas Tech at home, at Arizona, and Arizona State.
Yeah.
So there is a path to get Arizona to 4 losses. I don't know that it's going to take a really bad outing from Houston to get Houston down to 5 losses. Iowa State out of Texas Tech at Arizona, you can see a loss there. But, again, Arizona's not losing at Colorado, so you need Iowa State to get the win over Arizona just to get to this scenario of being the conference champion and winning the tiebreaker. But whether they finish 1 or 2 with Arizona, if they sweep Arizona and they're the 2 seed, or even 3 behind Houston, I don't know how that tiebreaker would work, but undefeated, and then they win the Big 12 tournament, what seed is Kansas?
2.
I think they're talking about a 1.
Yeah. Because you knock Arizona out of that spot, so you might replace them as a 1.
Right.
But
it'd be. I mean, I don't think any of us see that. I mean, can you see them winning the Big 12 tournament?
You have to squint.
You have to squint, but I would squint on any one team.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no one team I'm like, well, that's the team.
No.
Arizona
Even
and their
the team that's
tens of
13-2,
fans
yeah.
are not going to be rocking T-Mobile,
No.
right? So that's, I think that's going to be a problem for them until their people start going like, yeah, let's go to a cold place. Now, right now, when it's 94 already, but did you see that 2 days ago? I don't know where it is now. The high temperature in Phoenix was 94.
That's why Luke Lipinski didn't want to come on the drill today. He wants to be inside.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, oh, great, we picked Scottsdale for our baseball draft this year. Maybe it'll be 100.
Yeah, good.
Like we were literally,
but it's a dry heat.
we have to decide whether or not we want to pay extra to have the pool heated. I don't know. We need it heated.
Nope. Good old Mother Nature. It's a dry heat though, so it's not warm.
Yeah.
It'll feel like 60.
But I'm like, well, I was like, well, it's not gonna be warm enough. We're not gonna mess around. I better take the trunks. 3 weeks from now, it might be 110 for God's sake. But I think the tournament looks so rough.
Yeah. Someone's whoever comes out of KC with it, whoever's holding up a trophy and cutting down nets on Saturday, a week from Saturday, is gonna have done something. I mean, you're gonna have to really bring the big boy.
They may emerge
pants.
victorious but wounded.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But the result might be, the payoff might be a 1 seed.
I do think you want to be in that too, right? What you don't want is BYU in your semi. Like that's the 4-5 is going to be hell. 3-6 is going to be hell. Is BYU holding down the 6 right now? Let me look here.
No, I think they're 7. Yeah, they're 8 and 7. UCF is the 6 right now because they're the only team at 9 and 6.
So that's where the 1 helps.
Yeah,
because the 1 is going to get like TCU, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, it's going to get TCU, and the 3 right now would get Central Florida.
Yeah.
I like that a lot better than being the 2 and getting BYU.
Although BYU without Saunders is not as big a bite,
true.
But they still got DeBonsa and they still got the other kid.
Well, who is the
Wright.
team you want to play the least out of Central Florida, BYU, and TCU?
It's still BYU.
It's BYU.
Yeah, because they're going to have the best player, at least the second best player, on the court that day, and they're not. It isn't just him.
Yeah, if these standings
Wright's really
were to
good, too.
be frozen here and this is what you get, then the 1 and 3 are playing in the semis.
Right.
I don't see Central Florida or TCU
No.
upsetting Arizona or Iowa State or Kansas or Houston.
Nope.
So I think that's one of the things that's at stake for Kansas. I think they're likely to lose. I think Arizona in their barn getting the whistle, the home court whistle. I think it's going to be a tough win. It's going to be a tough win for Kansas. But if they do, literally everything is on the table for the Jayhawks.
Yeah.
I mean,
If they lose, Arizona, I think that probably sews it up.
Yeah, and I think you'd like to be at least a 3 seed. So, and I think if you just keep doing what you're doing, you're going to be a 3. I think they're a 3 right now.
The 3 for Kansas is just like the 10 for Missouri. If you're Kansas, you want to put off the 1 seed as long as you can. You rather play them on Saturday than on Thursday.
Yeah, I do think you can see the variance, like the 4, 5, 6 seeds down to the 10, 11. Do you see that much difference between those teams when you look at the Ken Pom or look at the bracketology? Like, you can see where if Missouri would get hot and roll, that's why I say I think they can go a lot higher seed than people realize at Mizzou. Kansas, it's really difficult climbing. Really difficult to get it.
Because the teams ahead of you don't tend to lose.
Yes.
I mean, it's
yes
the tougher neighborhood to get in front of people.
Yeah, for sure. All right, 913-3-810-810. We'll take a break, come back, talk some Royals baseball. Big performance yesterday out of the 2 youngsters. What does that mean for the Royals this year? We'll talk about it next here in the program. 5 for 6 with, what was it, 6 RBIs, double, a homer. That's what Carter Jensen and Jack Caglione combined to do in yesterday's Cactus League game.
Including one hit by Caglione that was 340 miles an hour.
That's
off the
right.
bat.
Yeah.
It was like a golf tee shot.
They thought it might break the sound barrier.
It went
was
through-
literally a sonic boom.
It went
Crack,
through the wall.
boom.
Ground rule double. It went through the fence and burrowed itself 6 feet into the berm behind the fence.
Killed a man. Couldn't get out of the way. 120 miles an hour it was hit, though. The double.
It's still ridiculous.
What are the Royals if those guys reach the ceiling, that we think their ability is? What is this team this year? If you add, what's the ceiling? Let's say
2 legitimate offensive bats.
a 350 on base from Carter Jensen, from behind the dish, and DHing, and he goes for 25 homers and 40 doubles, and then Jack Caglione, more like a 240, 250, 300 on base, but a slug that has him hitting 38, 39. Let's call it 40 homers. If those two are added to what's on the roster, what is this team?
I don't think you're concerned as much. I think there's a very good chance that when you get to August, the question isn't are they going to make the playoffs. It's what seed are they going to be? Are they going to be able to get home field? Are they going to division title clearly would be in the cards, and a situation where you're thinking, well, can they get home field in the second round or whatever? Because you got to figure that Garcia, Witt, and Pasquantino are going to be at least close to what they were a year ago. Add 2 more bats with the pitching staff that doesn't figure to break down again, and an improved bullpen.
And a 25 home run hitting catcher.
You can hit
and Salvador
you
Perez,
can
catcher
win,
/ first base DH.
You can win 95 games with that.
Yeah, at the very least, you're going to fight Detroit for the Central.
I think you win the Central.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
and you're looking for you're in 2015 Royals territory possibly, where you're like, can they get home field?
Yeah, can they be the 1 seed going into this thing?
We're talking about adding a stud at the deadline.
Because
right.
we talk about and what are you looking to add at that point? Probably to me a center fielder that can hit.
Yeah.
Center
fielder, second base.
And depending on how your veteran starters are going, maybe a stud pitcher.
Yeah. You've got a lineup that at that point I think goes at least 6 deep, and your 7, 8, 9 would be probably India. Isbell be your 9, which you don't mind that. That's fine there. Isbell be your India would be your 7. Who am I leaving out? Oh, whoever's in left field would be your 8.
Yeah.
Isaac Collins
would probably be your 9. Isbell be your 8. You'd want Collins getting on base at a higher clip.
Yeah.
It's assuming he's on base. You put him at 9 to make sure that the top of the order's got somebody on base when it turns over. That lineup sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, and add in Lane Thomas as well.
Yeah.
We'll see how he how many games he plays this year. Didn't play very many last year.
But, because that means Lane Thomas and Kyle Isbell ends up being your platoon, and that starts to look like a lot better combination. That player is better because if, like I said, in this scenario, Jack Caglione has become the player you want him to be. You think that the upside is, then he's playing every day, right? And so you can go straight platoon basically with Thomas and Isbell. Like that's, now that's I gave you like the best case scenario for what they can be. But if they just go down that road, then this is a team that I definitely feel like is a playoff team because I do like the pitching depth.
Yes.
And so I think they can, if they can get to where they score up at the top of the division, the 107 runs less they scored than the Tigers last year, and somehow the Guardians scoring a few runs less than the Royals. I really think this is the year the Guardians just fall apart. No offense, Munch, but we're like, oh, no, they just keep doing it. They just keep doing it.
Last year was a freak show.
It was this unbelievable
15 and a half
sprint
back
to the finish.
Yeah, Jose Ramirez can't keep this up much longer.
He needs some people around him. So, yeah, I I'm very bullish on the Royals. Love the over on the Royals win total this year. All right, let's take a break. We'll talk some baseball, some college basketball, maybe some football with Danny Clinkscale. Danny Unleashed coming up next.
All right, who was KU's leading scorer in the last game they played at Arizona? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Every once in a while, we have to bring out the big dog.
Yeah.
Oh, God help us. It's time for Danny Unleashed. Sponsored by Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. Go to eastonroofing.com for more.
There was a defensive back running the 40 at the combine from Washington. His name is, I'm going to guess on the pronunciation, Ephesians Prysock.
Well, it's definitely Ephesians because that's a book in the Bible.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
It's shocking that I know it, but having spent hundreds of hours trying to ignore what's going on around me in church, some of it bled through by osmosis.
Okay. Good to know.
I think it's Ephesians.
Yeah.
Not Ephesians, but
Well,
we're going to be technical.
Ephesians.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah,
I
but
was
the
thinking-
last
I think
name
I said
is
Prysock.
Prysock. Prysock.
Ephesians Prysock.
I've actually have heard that name before.
Prysock?
Yeah.
Were you watching a Washington football game?
No. I think
Because that would answer it.
that's true.
Prysock.
It's not like, boy, I've never heard that name before. I've heard it.
I had not.
Maybe
I was like, what are we?
Maybe
is this a
3 times.
Key and Peele sketch here? What are we
Well,
doing?
It does seem like a Key and Peele sketch.
Ephesians Prysock. University of Southwest Texas. Fudge.
Funny bit.
Do you know that
Well, they did about 10 of them.
they had the idea, and
They wrote him in like 10 minutes,
he
right?
one of the guys, I think it was Keegan-Michael Key, went home and wrote every name that night. One night, brought it back the next day, entire thing was done. The entire list for the
I
first.
think once you
I was
start,
like,
once you're starting on that,
Yeah.
I think it's
it kind of feeds on
kind of
itself.
feeds. Yeah, I mean,
but
'cause
still, some of those.
I'm not going to trivialize
I'm
that.
on
That was hysterical.
Jack Marius,
no, it's just
Taxeritrix,
totally
and
hysterical. But I could see being able to rip off a bunch of names quickly. You know, because all you
not
need is
20.
All you need is a long name. You know,
At 20.
that resembles loquacious or
Peel
something.
was like, really? It was done.
He said, "Well, I'm going to go make a horror movie."
Yeah.
Many of them.
Yeah.
Be one of the.
Yep.
It speaks to how intelligent you got to be to do good comedy.
Right.
Comedians are not dumb people.
Nope.
No.
Can't be.
Almost
No.
never.
Good comics aren't, at least.
Danny Clinkscale is brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. Did you know that Easton Roofing, in addition to putting the roof over your family or your business, they can also put the siding on your home as well. That's right, Easton Roofing does siding. They are Kansas City's best, offering expert siding installation, top-tier brands like James Hardy, LP SmartSide, Outside, CertainTeed. Their team provides full design support, including a visualizer tool, which is pretty cool. You can preview colors and styles right there on your actual home, help you make a nice, strong, confident decision, whether you're replacing storm-damaged siding or upgrading your home's exterior. Easton Roofing delivers craftsmanship, clear communication, and beautiful results that last. They offer lifetime warranties and factory pre-painted siding with a 15-year paint fade warranty. You get nothing but professional work from Easton Roofing. Find them online at eastonroofing.com. Danny, where do you want to start?
I'll start wherever you want.
Okay.
All over the map. You just did the Royals, so maybe away from that until later.
Okay.
Anything you want?
The Combine, Reuben Bain, short arms. He's a T-Rex. What do you do?
If he's there, you pick him.
At 9?
Yes.
You don't worry about the short arms?
I do not.
Your years of coaching has you
I think,
saying,
to me,
don't worry about
as
it.
an observer of football, I would say that it would seem to me that the short arms would be more impactful for an offensive lineman.
I agree. I think it is.
Than a defensive lineman. And because I think there are ways either through your get off or bullying somebody straight ahead, and he seems to have all those things, and I don't think a couple of inches of arm length should deter anybody, even though there certainly are statistics that say, that double-digit sackers are not guys who have short arms. But what I would say is that, first of all, probably a lot of those guys don't get a chance to play because they just, unless they're him they're going to fall, to a place where they're probably not even going to get the chance to prove that they're a good football player as much as a high draft choice. So I think it's probably a smaller sample size. I would absolutely, the guy looks like a game wrecker to me against, top-notch competition. So it does not bother me.
With that, is that your?
I mean, if it's if you feel the exact same way about somebody else and he's got longer arms, sure, but I don't see anybody else like him in this draft that looked so imposing and did it in the biggest moments and the biggest games. Seems to have a great motor. So I get it a little bit. You watch the Patriots' offensive line. Like I said, to me, offensive line, it seems to make a little more sense. They use their arms way more than a defensive lineman does. So, I mean, that to me is more impactful. But
I understand why some fans would look at it and go, if you're watching a Miami game, you saw him just blow some guy, I was like, God, do you see that? That's amazing. Yeah, but how long are his arms? You don't usually think how long is a guy's arms when he's just toasted a tackle. But you're not asking him to play in college. You're asking him to play at the NFL where the guys are better.
And also you're trying to differentiate him from other fine football players.
Yeah.
So, as I said, if you are in the same, like, I kind of like this guy and I kind of like him. He's got longer arms. Let's go with him. But I'm not in that place as far as edge rushers is concerned.
When they're healthy, assuming all 64 starting offensive tackles in the NFL are healthy, they represent how many starting tackles in college football in any one given year?
I'm not getting the...
So my point is there was starting left tackles last year, like Josh Simmons.
Right.
He's one. Okay. Over on the right side, Jawan Taylor.
Right, yep.
Right, so you get your 64 guys. Their year of college. So, like, how many left tackles from the 2024 college football season, how many players in the 2024 college football season started at tackle in 2025 in the NFL?
Probably a very low number.
Right, so literally there's, I'm guessing, since there's 64 of them, Trent Williams goes back 12 years ago. There's one from his class. He's probably the only one that's playing there.
So in any given year, there's probably 6 or 7.
My point is what he's going up against, what he will go up against in the NFL, there's only 6 of those guys probably anywhere around. And so even though, he did it against Alabama. Okay, but his side was a guy that is going to get drafted, but he's probably never going to start.
Yeah.
So, that's I'm just saying, what we measure, because I think your point is, it is valid. That's why the Chiefs like SEC guys. Well, we got to see him against the highest level. I mean, that's right. The best place to go and see game in, game out against the best that you can see. But whatever he's seen, with the exception of a handful of games, almost everything that he has beaten to this point in his career is worse than what he's going to see on almost every week in the NFL.
But
that's true of every player out there. That's not unique to that position.
For somebody who's that good, however, they probably game plan against him more than he would be game planned against in the National Football League. I doubt there were many games where they said, Joe Smith, he's yours today, one-on-one, left tackle, you handle old Ruben. I don't think that probably went on too often, especially this year. So, he is probably having to fight through more than just one man.
Yeah.
So.
My dream scenario, I think, is already falling apart because we talked about it. Like, if you move back to 20, can you get Zion Young, who looks more the type of what Steve Spagnuolo wants? Like, what I definitely don't want to see is Ruben Bain drafted, and then he's a situational pass rusher because Spags didn't think he's long enough.
We got certain sub packages we play.
Yeah, they traded for Josh Uche, who presumably somebody mentioned to Steve Spagnuolo before they did, and he couldn't get on the field. Okay, so they drafted Felix Anudike-Uzomah, and we can talk about the injuries lately, but he didn't get on the field his rookie year.
No, when he was healthy, he wasn't playing.
Yeah, so they can't take an edge and have it not get on the field. That's one thing. So my dream,
I think that Steve Spagnuolo might like a certain amount of a certain type of player, but if somebody is truly outstanding, I don't think he's going to say, you know what? He fits into just this little mold of things I want to do. I think he's smarter than that.
Josh Uche played before he got to Kansas City and has played since on teams that go to the playoffs, and he couldn't get on the field here.
And there are guys who are above.
But he's played. I said truly outstanding. I didn't say just a guy who can play. I meant if Reuben Baines is, blowing people up in practice, you say, well, he doesn't quite fit into this particular defense we run, so I'm going to sit him on the sidelines for that. I don't think he's that dumb.
I would like to think that there are at least people above Steve Spagnuolo that if they felt that way, they would say, I don't care what he fits. If he can play, he can play. But I don't know how much swag. Only Andy Reid could do that.
I think it's one of the more. Everyone knows that Anyedike Uzomah, who again has battled injuries of late, but that first year, he missed all this time. Come on, that is an athlete position. You either are there's not a bunch of scheme crap that you got to do over there on the edge. There's some. I'm not saying that's it, but he's by all accounts a bright kid, so that shouldn't have been the problem. And he couldn't get on the field. I don't think there's any way that they sat there in Kansas City on draft night and went, okay, I think we're going to go on Anyedike Uzomah, and Spags went, well, over my dead body. I mean, fine, but. He can't play. So I don't like that to me is and the other thing is the Josh Kando and the B.J. Thompson picks. I know they're middle round picks, so nobody talks about it, but like how many defensive ends can you take? Like literally every defensive back plays. They all play. Yeah. All the DBs get on the field. They all play. They have a defensive line coach that they rave about, and they couldn't get any of those guys on the field. So that to me is, I'm not saying you don't draft a defensive end. I'm saying figure out what it is the guy wants and get it for him. And he seems to like the long guys.
Make sure he knows that this guy can play, and to walk away from a guy, if you're Brett Veach and Andy Reid and you see the guy, you think this is the beast. How much swag or sway do you give Steve Spagnuolo? I know he has 4 rings. But if you honestly think that's the guy who can change our defense, well, Spags doesn't like him. I don't care if Spags likes him. He's the guy. How much of that, how much impact or input do you give Steve Spagnuolo in that situation?
I mean, I think you give him a lot, but I mean, I also think, though, that what you have to do is burn the boats. Don't give him an option. Like, that's what they did on the defensive backs. I mean, he now they play them all. We're going to see when they get some younger guys, but he was resistant to play Noel Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, when they throw in the towel, Noel Williams plays great.
Yeah, and when they do redrafts of last year's draft, he's a first-round pick.
Yeah. I mean, so, like, I do think that, I know he loves to do all these things and loves all these complex stuff, and that's great, but you got to get the best players on the field. Yeah. And so that's the only thing that makes me a little bit nervous. Like, if a great offensive tackle's there, take him.
I agree, and I think that I think a lot of the stuff that he does is out of necessity. I think any defensive coordinator would prefer the model that we see as the most successful currently in the National Football League, that if you're able to get to the quarterback with 4 guys, it's way better. Because in that case, all he can do is occasionally abet it with, a clever blitz, and then the guy's got no chance. He's dead.
Yeah,
dead on upon snap.
And there was a stat, I don't remember all the particulars, but it ranked the teams in how much it was just attack and how much it was scheme and types of various variations. The Chiefs their defense was 32nd. Like, Steve Spagnuolo had to do more different things to create pressure, whereas I can't think of who it was. If it was Seattle, someone was just like, you just pin your ears back and go. It may have been, I can't remember who it was, but it wasn't the Chiefs. And it was called, one guy is attack, one guy is smoke.
I think
and
we
mirrors.
just watch the games. You could tell. I
right.
mean, if they rushed 4, they weren't getting home. Period.
Yeah. And if you can get home with them, it's pretty easy cause and effect relationship and what getting pressure with 4 does to everyone else on the defense.
See, some of these guys, sometimes they're getting home with 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just that's ideal. I think he would. I think he would love that.
I mean, I've got 8 other guys I can use, or 7. Sweet.
Yeah,
I got 4.
No, I think when you're picking at 9, you can't miss. And I didn't love. I don't think he's wrong. I don't disagree with him. But when Brett Veach said, well, when we were picking 31, 32, we're always like, if we were just at 24, we'd be in a good spot. He said, and now we're picking 9. And I'm like, if we were just 4 or 5, Well, I don't want to hear that. 9 is still going to get premium player.
Well, also,
and better.
Not only is he got a good spot now, I think there's a little bit of pressure on him. I think he, has had a couple of pretty mediocre drafts in a row. So I think it's reflected in the way the team looks right now. I mean, he had some bang up. I mean, he had 3 really great ones.
Well,
but not recently.
What I would wonder aloud if I were Clark Hunt is, I would have a one-on-one with Brett Veach and say, okay, why didn't Xavier Worthy work? Well, because I gave Coach the guy he wanted. He wanted to stretch the field, so we got him that guy, right? Like, wasn't my number one choice, but that's what I don't know. Like when I look at their personnel decisions, it looks to me like Brett Veach and his staff never get to tell Steve Spagnuolo or Andy Reid no. Like whether it's paying a middle linebacker $15 million a year, paying a guard $23 million a year, drafting a wideout that weighs 160 pounds. These all look to me like the pick that the coach is like,
I want my guy.
I got to have this guy. Like they have not gone without for quite a while. That's what it feels like to me.
Right, and I think it's cost them. And
yes.
And that's why.
Well, I'm just saying that in reference to he's had a couple of bad drafts.
Right, well, we can only surmise that.
Right.
He is the general manager.
He is. But we also know who has the hammer.
Yeah.
Right.
And it'd be two different, dynamics. If it's a bad draft, it's either, and Brett Veach kind of has to wear either one of them because it's either a player assessment or evaluation issue or it's ceding too much power to people who are below him on the organization.
Well, if
Andy Reid,
if he's going to get all the flowers for Patrick Mahomes, then he's got to just
agreed. I'm just talking about all the elements that go in there. He's also lost lieutenants galore after no one calling him over the last 3 years. They're losing front office, but not this year, but they lost personnel people all over the place. So he's lost 3, right? Poles to the Bears, Borgonzi to the Titans, and Brant Tillis to the Panthers. He's the number 2 guy with the Panthers. And so he's lost a lot of scouting talent. But again, that's his job. That's what you're supposed to then bring in new talent. And
that's why we're evaluating him now just like we would a college coach who has started to lose coaches.
Yeah.
You got to re-recruit your coaches. Was it all these guys who were really good propping you up, or are you the man?
Yeah. No, I agreed. And then that's where you find out, are you truly great? Like Nick Saban. And that's the other thing, when I think about Nick Saban and his coaching staff constantly turning over, and I love the O'Shea hire, bringing him in at the wide receiver coach, but it's Nick Saban was never afraid to go get Lane Kiffin or guys that were not Nick Saban. Like, to me, Andy Reid's much more like Dabo Sweeney at Clemson, just promoting the next guy in-house. So we're going to find out.
Also, Nick Saban didn't really care about anything except whether the guy could coach football. Who wants to deal with Lane Kiffin? I mean, really? Who wants to be his boss? Not me. I don't. I mean, can you imagine what a pain in the ass he would be? Because I'm sure he was absolutely sure of everything he had to say. And there you are, Nick Saban, the best college football coach of his generation, and you got to listen to his mouth all day? But he didn't care. He says that you can coach football. I don't care. And he'll probably get a job pretty fast, and I'll have to deal with his ass for a year or two.
I'll go get the next guy and deal with him for a couple
win my natty, and then he can go drink natties for another team.
We'll take a break, talk some college basketball with Danny Klinkskill next. It's Danny Unleashed, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. They are Kansas City's best when it comes to putting the roof over your head, whether it's your home or your office. Did you know that the most exclusive commercial roofing manufacturers in the country, Elevate, Geico, Carlisle, JM, they only supply the very best roofing companies in Kansas City. They supply Easton Roofing. That's why Easton Roofing can write warranties on commercial flat roofs up to 30 years. Only a handful of companies across the entire country can say that. It's Easton Roofing here in Kansas City. No payment collected until you're 100% satisfied. Find them online at eastonroofing.com.
The program with Soren Petro.
If you can work the little one-hand tug, it's a little easier.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, listen up. The hoops are on fire right now. We've got NBA playoffs. We've got college basketball headed into March Madness, and the best place to play. To get in on all the action is at Underdog. If you don't have the app, download it right now, and make sure you use that promo code SOREN, S-O-R-E-N. You can score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code SOREN. It's all at Underdog. Listen, you can make entries, win money right now in Missouri. Get your entries right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Just pick your favorite players. Go higher or lower on your favorite stats, points, rebounds, steals, assists, blocks. They're all there. Combine them up. Whatever you want, it's at Underdog. Look, the NBA's red hot right now. And the Detroit Pistons are red hot. Cade Cunningham is one of the best players in the league. Love me going higher on Cade Cunningham. 24.5 points tonight. I'll take higher on Cade Cunningham. It's just that easy. Whether it's the college basketball or the pro basketball, it's all right there on Underdog. But you got to have that app. So download it today and use the promo code SOREN, S-O-R-E-N, and you'll score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Again, promo code, this is my first name, SOREN, S-O-R-E-N. It's at Underdog, where you make plays, win money.
Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play. Get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-MY-RESET or visit www.ncpggambling.org.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free.
All right, the La Feta Delicatessen, end of the hour answer. Who was KU's leading scorer the last time they played at Arizona?
I don't even remember the game.
They've only played 3 games there all time.
I don't have the Vegas.
Well, give us. Yeah, I don't even know. Give me the year it was.
December 23rd, 2008.
Well, Mario Chalmers.
December of 08.
Yeah.
That was 09.
So that was the next year.
So
Sharon Collins.
Sharon Collins, off the bench, had 16 in an 84-67 loss.
Collins
Arizona.
came off the bench?
He did in that game, at least. Markeith and Marcus, Cole Aldrich, Matt Kleinman started that game. It's December. Maybe, I don't know what they were doing.
Sharon often got the
Quintrell Thomas.
No start because he missed.
Yeah.
Missed the assigned weight?
Or the alarm clock didn't go off. I mean, there are a lot of those.
And this is also based on...
Who was the starting 5?
Based on the college basketball reference, which I don't know. Colleges, I'm not as...
They're not as strong on the college stuff.
Marcus and Markeith Morris, Cole Aldrich, and then it says Matt Kleinman and Quintrell Thomas. I don't trust because it says they had 1 minute. Maybe they started him for some reason and then they immediately sat because it shows them playing 1 minute. Whereas it shows Sharon Collins playing 36.
Why would they start?
And Brady Moore,
not
I have
senior
no
night.
idea. I know. And they got Sharon Collins and playing 36, Brady Morningstar 32, Tyshawn Taylor 29. So.
How did the big? I thought one of the Morrises came off the bench with.
They had them both.
Well, how many minutes did they each play?
28 and 23.
And what did Cole play?
23.
Well, yeah. So that collectively right there that's 74 minutes. So that's not even all the time at the 4 and the 5.
Right.
So I don't think all 3 of those guys were ever on the floor very often.
The other 2 times they played, 2001, December 1st, 01, they won at Arizona 105-97 behind 23 points from Drew Gooden, 23 and 15. The other game was in 1979, and I can't even be able to find a box score for that. They won 78-60 at Arizona on New Year's Eve, 1979.
Do they sweep the Arizona Wildcats? Do they go in and get the win?
No.
All right, let's talk about the K-State Wildcats.
I'm not saying they don't have a chance. I'm not saying dismissing it, with a quick no.
Right.
But I think I'm more leaning to the fact that it could be like Iowa State on the return visit than a dogfight. Although the line's low, but I don't see it. I see revenge.
It's 8.5, Kurtis said.
Oh, I thought somebody told me yesterday it was 1.5.
No, Missouri's a 1.5 point
okay.
favorite.
Somebody
on the road.
looked it up in front of me yesterday, and said
Arizona's
1.5. I was like, somebody knows something.
Yeah.
No, 8.5 makes sense to me. Yes, I might pick Arizona against the points.
Do you think that if Darren Peterson plays 30 minutes every game the rest of the way, that they can be a team that is elite? That they can be able to beat a Duke and a
When has he played
an
30
Arizona
minutes and
back-to-back?
been good?
Fair point.
So far, nunts.
That's an interesting thought. Look at his game log. See if he's how many times has he
I don't
played
think
30
he's
minutes
had
and
a
scored
good.
20
I
points.
mean, he's had. They're good for other people.
Yeah.
17, 14, whatever. But it looks to me like he's maybe has lost weight for the flu, or maybe he can't. Maybe he can't go.
like symptoms.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Flu-like symptoms.
Like symptoms, yes.
30 minutes, 14, 32, 17, 18 minutes, 23.
Yes.
34 minutes, 14. Wow. I had not. 35 minutes, 19.
There you go.
32 minutes, 16.
So he hasn't scored 20 points yet in a game where he's played 30 minutes.
31 minutes, 23 against West Virginia.
There we go. There's a trend breaker.
32 minutes against TCU. He had 32. That was an overtime game. They came back, but he got to.
But those two games were long ago.
Your point is quite valid.
Yeah, the last few times he's actually gone to the post for most of the game, he hadn't been particularly good. Am I going to be shocked if he goes out there and has a great game at Arizona? No. I mean, he's that type of player, but we haven't seen it yet.
Is he going to score 22 in the first half and play 29
he
minutes.
doesn't look like he's going
In an
100,
18-point loss.
does he? Right now, when you're watching the games,
He is not super interested in defending.
no, that's true.
I mean, they're especially off the picks, and this just could be the chemistry thing of not being out there. But he seems to get a little lost on: are we switching, or am I fighting through, or I don't. There's not a whole lot of want to.
I would agree with that. Maybe he's saving himself for the offensive end. I think he defers on offense quite a bit when they got a set going, and it looks like he can just take this to the rack right now, and then he passes the ball off. Or, he sees a double team a-coming, but it's not there yet. And to his credit, I mean, he's playing within the team concept, but I'm not so sure that's what he is paid to do. So, maybe he'll just hit his stride, and then Arizona will be the game that kicks it off, and we'll look back on it. And starting with the Arizona game.
Yeah, Greg Gurley said, he's here to score the ball. That's what Bill wants him to do. So, he needs to hunt a shot. He is takes a lot of mid-range. Mm-hmm. He makes most of them.
Yep.
But he would not get along well with what's his name in Alabama.
Right. Nate
Oates.
Nate Oates.
What are you taking that shot?
Right.
Yeah. So
you're not on the little red spot.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's red. It's
so how does Kansas finish? Lost there at Arizona State, and then come home for K-State.
Well, likely 2-1.
Okay.
Especially if they lose to Arizona in this game, I would think that they wouldn't look past Arizona State, although it's a road game. They haven't been fantastic on the road. But K-State, that's just going to be a bloodletting. If I were Driscoll, I'd just call up and forfeit. What's he need that on?
It's another opportunity to praise Jerome Tang, though.
Oh, jeez.
While wearing purple.
Well, good for him.
The
guy's going to be looking for a job. Wouldn't you not want to get beat by Fitty?
Oh yeah, listen.
In your final regular season game.
I'm more saying. I can't believe that nobody from K-State has been like, would you stop with the Jerome Tang praise every postgame?
Yeah. This guy is suing us.
Well, I think part of it is he knows he's not going to be there, so he doesn't care. This is the guy who's his friend. For years. They have coached together many years.
Does he think Tang's going to get a job somewhere and take him with him?
I don't know. I don't know if he even cares about that. He just knows that this guy hired him and did him a solid, and now he actually gets to show his face on the sidelines and probably does him some good, I guess. They won a game. So, anyway.
Do you think it's helping K-State with him? I know that I hear what you're saying. I agree with you. But I'm just saying, like, you do agree that that's not a good look for them to have their current coach talking about him every single postgame.
Well, what have there been? 3 postgames?
Mm-hmm. It's 3 for 3.
Yep. I don't think it's that relevant. I think that, they're either going to win or lose the court case or meet somewhere in the middle, and this will all be forgotten.
Okay.
Basically, all the zest for speaking about, I can't believe it, we bet on 100 seconds on K-State right now.
Yeah.
It's probably about 95 more than they deserve right now.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I'm going to go back to KU and make you finish the exercise, but finish your thought.
2-1.
Okay. 2-1, and then what in the Big 12?
1-1.
Okay. Now that gets them what seed?
4.
Not a 3.
Not with what I just predicted.
Yeah.
Yes, they can get a 3,
but not a 3-2 down the stretch.
I mean, they have.
You have them going 3-2 with wins against lesser teams,
right,
and 2 more losses against good teams.
Right. So I don't think they're going to get dinged. They could still get a 3 theoretically.
Kind of depends on what else happens in that neighborhood.
Right, and who they play, and that's that it's not a bad loss. There wasn't an upset in front of them, and they're not playing Iowa State or somebody like that. KU is just historically, Bill Self doesn't seem to really put that much, of an emphasis on winning it. Maybe this year, because they, had a couple lackluster years, it would be a better thing, but it's just never really been a thing to him, or at least their performance indicates it hasn't been a thing. So Yeah, I'm going to say that.
All right. Then how's Mizzou finish?
What are the
At
four?
Mississippi State.
I think they're going
At Oklahoma. Home for Arkansas.
They're so hard to predict. I'm going to say 1 and 2.
Okay.
But they're just a box of chocolates. They are. I mean, especially because they just don't defend. I mean, Arkansas runs with the ball like the wind, and they had 5 turnovers. They don't play careful ball. 5 turnovers, and they get out rebounded in every game. It's hard to win that way. They shot 55% in the last game, and they lost.
Not the last one.
One before
the
because they gave up 56% or something like that.
Yeah. No, it's like we looked at it. They were out rebounded significantly by Tennessee. They gave up basically. Tennessee scored 1 more field goal, and knocked down 3 more threes.
Right.
And the foul differential was Tennessee was only called for 1 more foul. However, every foul seemed to be when Missouri was shooting, because they got there by like almost doubling up the free throw attempts. And that is, they have gotten better at making their free throws, which was a bee in your bonnet early.
And actually, that has been a calling card of Gates as coach. They do get to the free throw line. They've done it consistently in his tenure there. They're just
this is the first year they've really had free throw problems.
They're a fun team. If you're not a fan of theirs, they're fun to watch. You're going to see an entertaining game.
What I think I noticed one thing about them,
like an NBA All-Star game
with Barrett in particular.
It's not that bad.
No. With Barrett in particular,
nothing's that bad.
They now have more than just 1 or even 2 guys who can give you a 20 on any night. He had 26. Pierce had 23. They have 5 guys this year have had 2 20-point games for them. So they've got guys.
I love watching him play.
But,
I mean, somebody should be able to shut his water off. I mean, he can't shoot.
But he thunders down the lane.
Oh yeah. He goes down there like, I'm getting there, and he does.
And the other night,
he weighs more than the running backs that you talk about.
He does.
That was an off-the-air conversation, but he's 6'4", 205. I mean, he's basically the same size as Jason Kidd was listed at Cal.
Right.
And that's what he kind of looks like coming down the lane to me. Mm-hmm. And when he gets there, he finishes.
Yeah.
Even in traffic, he's got a good
he looks skinnier
feel around the game.
than he is because he's got all that hair. So
that's true.
He looks smaller. But
I'm a huge fan.
I am too. Frank Mason.
I'm a fan of his too. I like watching him play.
He just needs to stop shooting threes.
Yeah,
guys who can't shoot threes should stop shooting threes.
They've got enough guys who do that.
Yes, but they've got some guys that are like 25%. I'm going, what are you doing? What's the Trent Burns was in the corner and jacked up a 3. I'm like, I may drive to Columbia and kick him in the shins myself for that. What are you doing?
He could use just a tiny bit more.
Have you not seen Wembanyama?
Yeah.
Sending him up. He's got a role model now.
Yeah, it's true.
He could get a little more. Barrett could get a little more dish on his plate. When he goes down the lane, he's going down there to score.
Yeah.
He was the other night.
And they have some guys who around him who could, and he's going to draw attention now doing that.
But he's had stretches where they've been in key games where 4 or 5 possessions in a row, he's driving and dishing. He's finding guys open. Right. That night, they knew going into the game, that's the weakness. We can get to our guard can get to the bucket and score or go to the line, and they kept going back to it, and he kept getting the shots.
And I give him credit in that game too, because things did not look good for a while, and they just kept at it.
Yeah.
So
he's at his best. Barrett's at his best in there in the open court, and they get things going, and he just blows by guys. So 1 and 2 to finish the season. Then what in the SEC tournament?
I'll go 1 and 1 again.
Okay. And that is what seed?
Close.
11?
Close.
Are they playing on Tuesday or Wednesday?
I think they're playing. They are either not playing or they're playing.
Really? See, so you think what percentage chance?
With my scenario of what they're going to do, they will make it, and they will play a play-in, I think.
11th,
but I mean,
Santa Clara or somebody.
There is a scenario out there, certainly, where they could lose the last 3 and lose this tournament game, and you're playing in the CIT, or if you want, whatever. So, but they're very schizophrenic basketball team, so I'll just sort of go on the margins and say they're going to slide in there, and you get a little extra bonus basketball, maybe 2 NCAA games, maybe the old free NCAA win.
To this point, K-State's the only one of the 3 that have played in a first 4 game, right? Didn't K-State play in one a couple? Sometime?
Yeah, they did.
They lost. They lost to LaSalle.
Yeah, that's right.
You cannot stop the Explorers.
No, not with Tom Gola. He's going to dunk on anybody.
Well, Bruce Weber couldn't.
No,
we know that.
No,
He's
kind of good on the desk.
Is he?
No, I'm wrong about that. Did LaSalle win a play-in game and then play K-State in the regular round?
No, I don't know.
Because I think the year that they lost to LaSalle, they were tied for league champion with Kansas.
I think they have played in a play-in game.
And so they couldn't have been co-champions of the Big 12 in a play-in game.
Yeah.
But I did think K-State played in a play-in game.
Maybe not that year, but I'm pretty sure they did.
Was it the Beasley year when they played Wisconsin?
Let's see. First 4. I'll kind of rock through these here. I thought they did.
I thought they did too.
2017, they played Wake Forest and blew them out.
Oh, that's right.
That was one of the most entertaining games I've ever attended.
95-88.
Sitting behind Frank Martin's bench when they're playing Wisconsin. I will never forget it. I mean, it was the funniest thing ever. He needs Poland to score, and he's a young player, and he turns to the rest of the team. He pulls Poland, he says, "You're going in." And he looks at the rest of the team, and he goes, "I need you MFers to guard people because he's not going to do it." He's in there to score.
Wow.
It was great. And then on the other bench is Bo Ryan, who is just a riot too.
Yeah.
So they probably set a record for profanities during a course of a basketball game.
And you were right. In 2013, LaSalle beat Boise State in the first 4, and then beat Kansas State 63-61 in the first round, 13 over a 4.
Okay. Yeah, so that's. I was thinking that wasn't.
Yeah, because we were doing our Friday lunch and watching it at lunch.
Yeah.
So it couldn't have been a first 4.
Well, it
was a Wednesday night. LaSalle played.
Did he? That wasn't the one that Weber sat.
No, that was against. That was with a few years later when he had Wade and those guys, and he sat Barry Brown.
Yeah, Barry Brown
against somebody's state, like Long Beach State or somebody,
and
he never put him back in, and they lost by 3 or 4 or something like that. He's like, that was interesting.
That just nothing chaps my ass more
Friday,
than we're going to sit him the whole first half, and look it up. He sat him with 3 fouls. He got his third. He sat him with 3 fouls.
Never got another foul.
They lost the game.
Yes, one of your best scores.
If he fouls out, you got every minute you could get from him.
Yes,
right. I'm not a fan of the automatic sit either.
You sit him down, talk to him, iterate. You cannot get a foul here. But then if you put him in
at the outset, or maybe you get your
pick
third.
and choose. At least play him some though.
But really, you watch that happen in college basketball. I watch Little League basketball, and they get the third foul. They sit him down. I'm like, they're playing 6-minute quarters. Do not let this kid sit like you're managing a Final Four game in New Orleans right here.
This is for them to learn, not for you to pile up wins.
Oh, I can't lose with my best player. I can't. What? I was coaching Little League. He goes, Coach, that's 3. I know. It's the first half. I know that too.
Aware.
It's okay. We're all right. See these other players here? One of them will go in. This isn't Hoosiers. I'm not going to go like my team's on the floor and play with 4.
In all the years I've done high school basketball, anytime a guy gets his third, the customary is you just coach 3. I don't remember the last time a coach pulled a guy out and won 3. Sometimes 4 they might, but 3.
Well, they're revolutionary because it happens all the time in college.
In high school, they just
like I said, I don't mind to sit down and chat with him, but if he's your best player, get every minute you can out of it. I mean, that was the dumbest thing Bruce Weber's ever done.
Sometimes they do, but you don't have to tell them. The guy's already coming out, but he's going, I know. If he stays in that, I know. We're playing.
Yeah.
Play on.
I'll take a break. We'll come back. Danny Clinkscale's with us. A little Danny Unleashed. Talk a little Royals spring training baseball next. Danny's always brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing, Kansas City's best at putting a roof over your family's head. With Easton Roofing, estimates are always free. No payment collected until you're 100% satisfied. When it comes to your business, they can put together a complete plan. You'll know exactly when it is. They work around your schedule as well. You got times when the business is busy. They'll make sure that they're not blocking up the whole parking lot. Sensible, smart. That's Easton Roofing. Online at eastonroofing.com.
The program with Soren Petro.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Listen, if you're looking for the very best outdoor living space, and who isn't? Look, it's 70 degrees today. Don't you want to be out on a deck, a patio, a screened-in porch? And as that temperature comes down, maybe there's a little bit of a chill in the evening. Do you have a fire pit? We've got one, thanks to All Weather Decks. They built us a fire pit, turned it on last night. Beautiful day during the day. Wonderful to get outside in a screened-in porch, a deck, a patio. And in the evening, when it's got a little bit of a chill, nothing better than sitting around that fire pit. Or maybe it's an outdoor fireplace. Listen, they build the biggest and best projects in Kansas City. No matter how big you're dreaming, All Weather Decks can deliver the goods. That's why 24 times they won the Angie Super Service Award. That's why they carry an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Go to allweatherdecks.net right now. See for yourself. Photos of finished projects are a great way to get you some ideas and see the quality of work that All Weather Decks does. You can also see the map link. They do jobs all over the metro. Some companies only work in a little corner of Kansas City. Not All Weather Decks. Multiple crews means they can work the entire metro. I guarantee if you look at that map link, you're going to see some jobs that were done in your neighborhood. It also means they're only 6 or 7 weeks away from starting your project. That's right, starting it sooner, finishing faster, building it better. That's the A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. That's right, they'll build it better. But even on top of that, they start sooner. Once they have the permits in hand, they're ready to go. That takes about 6 or 7 weeks, and they're ready to build your dream outdoor living space. So what are you waiting for? Call Cass and the guys right now at 913-206-1974, or just check out that website. All kinds of great answers, and you can even get an estimate going at allweatherdecks.net. Again, that's allweatherdecks.net, and relax.
Hey, it's Todd Lebo. We're having fun down here at the Big Buck and Outdoor Show at Bartle Hall. Come check us out. We're about to be leaving. We're going to leave at 4 o'clock, but they're open until 8 tonight. It's great exhibits, man. They've got the world-class deer exhibit brought to you by Browning. You can meet different people who will take you on hunting excursions, waterfowl, outdoor adventure, shop all kinds of different apparel. They've got it all down here at the Big Buck Show and Outdoor Show. Also, if you have a ticket to this, you can also get in to the KC Home and Flower Show next door. Make everybody happy in the family. And speaking of family, how about this? It's free for kids 16 and under. That's right, 16 and under, you get in for free. They want you down here having a good time. They're open till 8 tonight, Saturday 10 to 7, Sunday 10 to 4. It's the KC Big Buck and Outdoor Show. More information online at mobigbuckshow.com. It's mobigbuckshow.com. We're having fun down here. We're heading out pretty soon, but you can come down here till 8 o'clock. It's Todd Lebo at the Big Buck Show right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
In Kansas, truth is told in speed. Wide open, full bore, and no mercy. Season momentum earned 3 and 4 wide. Loud, intense, inches predicting outcomes. Blink and miss.
They bang sideways.
What just happened? Pure speed whipping across the plains.
Hell yeah, boys!
NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, April 18th and 19th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
It is the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Danny Unleashed, Danny Clinkscale in, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. Do you not have a weather app on your phone?
I do.
What's with the sweater and turtleneck on an 80-degree day?
Well, it ain't 80 for one thing.
It's close, 75.
It's going to get cooler after dark. I'm dressing up. I get a jacket, so this is what I pulled out.
No, throw a jacket on over it.
And this is
good plan.
This is like not even a heavy shirt. This turtleneck.
What's with wearing the Uggs?
What are Uggs?
You're not wearing Uggs.
I'm not wearing
Uggs. Are those little kind of furry little boots?
No, it's my wife's birthday. We're going to dinner. Happy birthday, dear. I'm sure she's not listening.
Well, hey, thanks.
But maybe she is.
Love the
she
sport.
listens if she's driving around, but she's a busy lady.
Yeah, understood.
Yes.
Understood. Danny, what do you expect from Carter Jensen and Jack Caglione this year? That good, huh?
I'm trying to. My thoughts. I'm trying to parse here. I think Carter Jensen's going to be at least good. I think Jack Caglione, I'm still have my doubts about early. You know, that he hit the ball well in spring training last year too. So I'm not making that much of that. If they get 1 out of 2's good and the other one is just can play, that's great. That's good. I mean, but there certainly is ceiling to both of them. But Carter Jensen's resume.
How dare you put a limit on Carter Jensen? Local kid?
I'm not putting. I said the ceiling is high.
There's no ceiling. None.
I mean,
I'm thinking 500.
How he produced
Johnny Bench plus Mike Piazza
times Yadier Molina.
Yeah, to the Yogi Berra power.
Yeah.
His sample size in the majors. I mean, what he did in the majors is not reflected in what he did before that. He was promising, but he certainly didn't expect him to come up and tear it up. I mean, so I think they're both hopes. I think Jensen is going to be a good major league player because he catches and he catches well, and he looks like he's at least going to hit some.
Well, and he knows the strike zone.
And that's a long-time major leaguer right there, period. I mean, even if he doesn't hit great. Caglione is just, is he – there's a lot of guys that we've seen play in the majors who have had seasons where they've hit, 30-plus home runs who profile like him. Who's the guy for the Rangers, left-handed batter for the Rangers who's now kicked around? Joey Gallo. To me, there's a lot of Joey Gallo there.
Joey Gallo would take a walk. That's where Caglione's
and Joey Gallo's a good fielder, too. So, I mean, Joey Gallo is a player that was useful. I'm not saying, but, I mean, there's a few guys like that who they get the raw power, but they get a lot of swing and miss, and there's just too much miss. But
it's too much swing, too. Too much miss.
But there's a lot of people who are not associated with the Royals who are very high on Jack Caglione. So I'm certainly not sending that ship sailing. I mean, I have some hope that this is for real, and he could be more than just a low batting average, high strikeout guy who knocks the ball over the wall enough that he's productive for you. So, but he's probably in the end going to be somewhat of a liability in the field, even though he's shown flashes of athleticism. That size doesn't translate usually in the long term to being a good fielder. So I think that they're in a pretty good position, the Royals are, because I expect something out of those two guys combined this year. Something good.
Yeah.
If it's both of them, then they're a division contender, totally. And if they get something, they get good performance out of one and the other guy's okay and you can platoon him or whatever, then that's still an upgrade over what they had, definitely. So I think there's just a lot to be excited about with the Royals. There is.
Danny, always appreciate it. Don't forget your scarf and mittens there before you go.
I got a hoodie, too.
Yeah.
I'm going to put on over it.
Yeah, throw it on.
Yep.
All right, Tony Gonzalez is 50 today. Who's the only non-quarterback to throw a touchdown pass to Gonzalez? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
You're listening to the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Time for the 2-minute drill. It's brought to you by our good buddy Gary Joslin and Joslin's Jewelry. He's right there, just a mile north of 435 at 95th and Antioch, Kansas City's best jeweler. Voted number 1 by Ingram's Magazine last year. No games about what a carat really is. When Gary Joslin says the diamond's a carat, it's a carat. You know, some of those other places will scrape together some diamond dust, add up all the little decimals, and it's a whole carat. No, that's not how it works. Not with Gary. You get the very best jewelry, the most scintillating diamonds at the fairest price. He's said it many, many, many times. He doesn't want your money. He wants your business. You're going to be a customer for life. If you go to Joslin's Jewelry, go see him today. He's right there on the southeast corner of 95th and Antioch. You can find him online at joslinsjewelry.com. The gold standard in fine jewelry is Joslin's Jewelry. Let's get things started on the drill. We begin in Atlanta. Chris Domino, 680 The Fan, will lead us off today. Chris, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Soren. How are you?
Doing good. Kirk Cousins being out, I assume this shocks no one, but do we know what the plan is moving forward at quarterback?
No. You hope Michael Penix gets healthy, and then you really, really hope that he can actually play football at the NFL level. But I've been on record for the last month saying I'm not sure if anybody in the NFL has a worse quarterback situation than this team, because, quite honestly, they have no emotional investment in the guy that was picked 8th overall in the year where you signed Kirk Cousins for $180 million. I mean, it was a house of cards that actually played out where we're all looking at the cards now on the floor. It had potential to be Kirk Cousins for 2 years. Then Michael Penix gets to slide in. But how often? I mean, make a plan, God laughs. This organization seems to be right in front of that, as if not more often than anybody else, as often as anybody else.
Kyle Pitts gets the franchise tag. Good move, bad move?
I think it's terrible. I mean, what are you going to do? You need a receiver, and that's what they're going to call him. They're not going to call him a tight end, even though they're paying him $16.2 million to be what's supposed to be a tight end. He had, so you want the numbers? He's played 78 games. He's had a touchdown in 11 of them. He had 5 touchdowns this year, but 3 in 1 game. 36% of his yards happened in 2 games. So everybody telling me, well, look at the number of catches and look at the yards. Who cares? He's averaged 46 yards a game for his career. So, no, I don't like it. I kind of understand why they had to do it, perhaps, because they only have 5 draft picks. It's why the general manager, was fired. It's the Penix situation. It's the Cousins situation. It's the sort of being painted into a corner where you had to up this guy for $16.2 million, and on and on and on. So, the hits keep coming. I don't know if you heard. We just had a guy who was here for a month as a defensive assistant line coach. He got fired because nobody was smart enough to vet out what were allegations put against him in January 2025. We're making a headline after James Pierce Jr. just a couple of weeks ago. Here's the good news. You know that cut and paste thing that you can do on your computer?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the Falcons had to do was cut and paste. We are aware of the situation. There's an ongoing investigation. We will say nothing about it right now. They had them so close together that it didn't take much to go to the file and pull that one out the way they did today.
How does it end with Pierce, the 25 first-rounder that was arrested for a slew of charges all around domestic violence?
Great question. Talent sometimes does, it wins out. And 10.5 sacks, there was a reason people said, hey, there's stuff in this guy's background, but they traded a first-round pick for him, so I don't have it this year. It's one of those where you're going to play. Let's see how it plays out. It doesn't read well. It doesn't look well because there was video. And at the end of the day, I'm not sure if they're willing to do it, but I do know that Arthur Blank is going to have his name attached to it if he does come back. And I don't know how that's going to play in his mind.
What happens with Tyler Algier? He's a guy that I like his game. I think he could be a good fit in Kansas City, but can you really be paying him and Bijan Robinson?
He's a great fit for you guys. It's funny. I thought maybe in Oakland, although I think he wants to be league guy and have Genti there. Now, I did hear something, and this was a little bit surprising. 3 years, $22 million might be the ask. That's steep for a guy who hasn't really, really proven that he can do it down in and down out. But my partner and I actually mentioned Kansas City probably at the top of the list. He looks like a good player. We had a guy, Michael Turner, years ago, who they signed as a free agent, who was a backup running back until he almost became the MVP of the league. And I don't want to go that far, but I do say that if you've got the offense that we've seen in the past or anything close to it, he fits. He wants the football. I think one of the things that they probably believe, and his agent's going to have to pitch it, is that he'll catch the football coming out of the backfield. Wasn't really asked to do much of that, but he's one of those guys that when the ball is in his hand, it does look like he's going forward. He's not dancing. He's not trying to highlight film, behind the line of scrimmage. He wants to see a hole and hit it. And while we don't have an exorbitant amount of carries, we do know that he's got a lot of tread in the tire.
Jonathan Kuminga made his debut for the Hawks, 27 points in 24 minutes off the bench. This is a deal. They got him and Buddy Hield for Kristaps Porzingis. Are we going to look at this and say this is a robbery?
Listen, the guy was drafted as high as he was in the top 10 just a few years ago, and the big story in Golden State is they didn't really know how to use him, or something went wrong enough. Now, did you hear the goofy story where his family supposedly was eating too much food in the family room? I mean, comical. Look it up. It's a real story. After he got traded, the organization came out and said it looked like his family took way too many liberties in the food room for the Golden State Warriors. But listen, if that was part of the reason why you got rid of him, because somebody was sticking chicken sandwiches in their pocket or somebody decided to take an extra cheesecake, great, because he does look like he can play. He does look like he has talent. The problem for the Hawks is they're still a game under 500. You know, if Quinn Snyder doesn't do something with this group now in the last 20 or 22 games to get them out of the play-in game at a minimum, I'm not so sure he gets to coach this team next year.
The Braves extended Chris Sale. What's your expectation for the Braves this year?
I need Spencer Strider to be closer to a 2. They're paying him $20 million a year for the next 3. He had that sort of, not the Tommy John, he had the brace surgery, so everybody keeps telling me it's going to be better. His fastball is going to come back. He pitches for the first time tomorrow. We were in Northport last week when he did a live BP, and it was funny because it was the only day that the gun didn't work up on the board. And they said, well, yeah, nothing to see here. But they're in Sarasota playing Baltimore, so I'm assuming we'll get an idea what the fastball is. I don't need it to be much in February, but I do know he needs to be a 2. And this is a bad sign. Let's say Medelson played to his contract. Drake Baldwin was the only guy on the offensive side of the ball that actually played above his contract. Not Austin Riley, not Michael Harris. Ronald Acuna missed too many games. Not Ozzie Albies. Profar got popped for 80. You better be better, especially if you're going to be thin at pitching, which is it looks like now you're going to be. Your offense better go, if not to 2023 standards, it can't be what it was the last 2 years because they're not going to be able to make up for what might be a long year in the starting staff.
All right, and finally, another month and another couple of arrests at Georgia? I mean, is there,
I know,
with more
insane.
The same thing? Like any
blanking.
blowback?
Yeah. Listen, guys are both doing over 100, and it was funny, because not funny, the incident, but there were 2 separate reports, like an hour and something apart, and we were looking at each other going, are these 2 idiots, like on different parts of town doing this? No, of course not. They were doing it with each other. And you get arrested for 105 miles an hour, and you get arrested if you don't pull over quick enough. And you had deaths. Like, the messaging is not getting through. And I've debated, you can't take everybody's keys. And you hate to say this, in a world of transfer and everybody's pissy, and look what they did to me, they took my car. I don't want to give anybody else another reason. But I'll tell you this, if these 2 are sticking around, they're not driving. They're not. And if you want to transfer and you want to get out of Dodge because now you're all of a sudden butthurt, because we've decided that, a couple of years removed from people dying because of stupidity on the road, we're not going to tolerate it. We'll see. No, they have not come up with anything definitive as to what they might do. But I'm telling you this, a lot of people around here are fed up, and I'm going to tell you one more, and this is where it gets interesting. I have friends. My daughter's a college age. I have friends who have kids that go to University of Georgia, and this could be on any campus, but at Georgia where you had deaths, if they're not getting the messaging, they're setting themselves up for such a problem. If, God forbid, one of these kids in this football team does something with a car that hurts somebody else, because I just have a feeling, and I know lawyers, like you know lawyers, they're going to have such a problem if it feels like there was not enough stiff messaging put forth to make sure and ensure that this might not happen the way that it's happened around this program.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, at some point, you'd hope somebody would get it figured out, but they haven't yet.
No, not yet. Teflon. Yeah. Everybody's Teflon.
Yeah, that's how it feels. I mean, when you win, that's the way it is. I mean, now go 8-4 and get some arrests, and they'll say it's for the arrests.
Yeah, you know what's crazy, too? We hear, maybe the cops in that town really have it out for football players. You're driving 105, and there's a car behind you doing 104. And what's supposed to happen at that point? Like, especially in a town where you have to know, by the way, this is on us if we don't crack down on this stuff. Like, the police have to worry about it as well. It's just, you're a sycophant. I mean, that's the only word. You're a sycophant who's not realistic if you believe that, maybe it's the cops getting on these kids too often. That's absurd. Like, it's just, it even smells when I've heard people at least imply that on social media.
Chris Domino in Atlanta. Great stuff as always, buddy. Have yourself a great weekend.
Thanks. You too, Soren.
This is where we find Mike Rice, 104.3 The Fan in Denver, Colorado. Mike, how are you?
I am super, Soren. How's it going?
It's going well. Davis Webb going to call play. Sean Payton's not going to do it. Number one, how big a shock is this? And how long do we think it'll last?
Great question. It may last as long as the Broncos are successful. I think we all know that when you win, things are good, and when you don't, then changes get made. But was it expected? I think Sean dropped a hint before the divisional game against Buffalo in the postseason when he talked about play calling and how he now thinks more negatively about some of the ramifications if a play doesn't work, referencing an example of calling a reverse at, say, the 8-yard line, and now thinking about, well, if it doesn't work, then what happens in some of those circumstances. It's a shock because this is what he's done, and I don't know that a lot of people really believed that he was going to give those up now, but I give him credit for saying I think the team could be better if Davis Webb has a shot to do it.
Yeah, I think that's what it took to get Webb, so that's the question. Is this him just delivering on what it takes to get the guy hired, and then, okay, you're here, I've got you under contract. Matt, we had some struggles there. I'm going to go ahead and take it back over. That to me is what I would be interested in because, like all these coaches have egos. Sean Payton's is as big as anybody's. It's pretty. I don't know. I was pretty surprised to see it. Let's talk about the inside linebackers that are free agents. Alex Singleton, Justin Snart. What do we think? Is the plan when it comes to their whole free agent plan?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Specifically, as it relates to inside linebacker, they can also move on from Dre Greenlaw with a fairly minimal cap hit, and given the fact that he missed, the first 7 or so games this year and has a recent injury history, that's also a possibility. By all accounts, the draft has a very good inside linebacker class. There's some interesting free agents. It wouldn't surprise me if the Broncos decided to keep one of those 3 guys that we mentioned, go with the free agent, and also I really believe they're going to draft an inside linebacker potentially in the first 2 or 3 rounds. I really believe that. So I think they're going to remake that room, and also, Soren, they've got to remake the running back room. They need a guy who can carry the load with R.J. Harvey. Not sure Jaleel McLaughlin will be back. Not sure Tyler Bidet will be back. The Broncos need help in that department in a bad way, too. They need a tight end that can actually catch the football and do some things in the running game, so they need a threat at that position as well. And I think they're going to go get a young guy in the draft at tight end.
Okay, is that what you think they do at 30?
Potentially, absolutely. If Sadiq out of Oregon, Kenyon Sadiq, is either there or he's still around as the draft gets into the early 20s, I don't know that it's a given, but I could absolutely see them moving up to grab a tight end in the first round.
What's the reaction? They got good grades everywhere except for the locker room on that NFLPA report. It seems like I've heard good things from media members who go to the press box there in Denver, feeling that this is when it comes to getting a D on the locker room, they're building a new stadium that's going to be beautiful by all estimations. What's the feeling? The first-class organization and that everything's in good hands?
Absolutely, Soren. Broncos ownership is the wealthiest in the NFL. They're not afraid to do what it takes for the players and to make it a first-class operation. I would say this, too, about the locker room. At the facility, at team headquarters, not just the new stadium you mentioned, but they're putting up a whole new gargantuan building at team headquarters. So the locker room grade for this year has to be viewed in the context of players are going to get a palace at the facility. They're going to get a new locker room there, and I would be stunned if that grade stayed where it was once that facility is done here in the next few months. I would think certainly before training camp begins.
Chris Bryant is still trying to go. Is this just like, hey, I want my money, so I'll show up, I'll do my rehab work, or is there anyone who actually thinks Chris Bryant might actually be playing again for the Rockies?
Yeah, I'd be stunned, Soren. It's a difficult situation. It was a horrendous contract that the Rockies gave out. And, first off, nobody wishes an injury like this, a situation like this on a player. It's just tough that it's happened to Chris and it's happened during his time with the Rockies. They never should have gave him that deal. They bid against themselves when they gave it out, and now they're they're reaping the consequences of it. I don't know that there's any way to expect that he would ever play for the Rockies again. I mean, from what he described, he's having trouble living his life in anything close to a normal fashion with that back issue. It is severe, apparently, and certainly beyond the sports stuff, you wish the man well.
The Rockies signed a number of pitchers to try to help the starting pitching. Quintana, Michael Lorenzen, who was here in Kansas City. I love this write-up. They aren't Cy Young Award talents, but they are real big league starting pitchers. That's what the Athletic said about their signings. Where are the Rockies? How much progress can they make this year?
Yeah, where are they? They're below the basement. They're in the dungeon. I think we know that with 3 straight 100-plus loss seasons. Can they make some progress? Yes. Is that progress anywhere close to a 500 record? I don't think so. I think that would be way beyond anything. But can they go from 120 losses to somewhere around 100? Maybe. I mean, they do have, like you said, some big league arms, some veteran experience that'll be contending for jobs, which is a huge upgrade. I do think the DePodesta-Burns team is one that deserves a chance because the Rockies did go outside the organization. They got guys who had solid baseball experience and some degree of success for sure, and they deserve credit for that. Now the real work begins, though, and we know that in baseball it takes a long time to author a turnaround. All
right, and finally, where are we on the Nuggets? Just 4-6 in their last 10, but they did just beat the Celtics. Is this a team just kind of playing with its food till it gets to the playoffs, or is there something missing here? As they said, I think, fourth in the standings?
Yeah, and by all accounts, they're about to get healthy again. They're about to become whole with Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson on the precipice of coming back from injury. And David Adelman, the head coach, has said, look, we want to get 20 games with our full lineup. If they truly get 20 games with their full lineup, they're going to be a handful in the playoffs. I guarantee that.
Yeah. All right. We'll find out. Mike Rice, great stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend, my friend.
Hey, you too, Soren. Thank you.
I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota.
Eric Nordquist up next in Minneapolis, Minnesota. KFAN. Eric, how are you, sir?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Do we have any level of concern for where the Vikings are cap-wise right now? The Chiefs redid Patrick Mahomes' contract. I think they were number one on a lot of those lists. I think the Vikings are up at the top now. Any concern about what they're going to have to do to get under the cap?
Well, man, if only my team had one of those all-time quarterbacks with a crazy deal and you could just chop $40 million off in one little lever pull. The Vikings would be in fantastic shape. Concern, not necessarily that they'll get it done, but what is it at the expense of? Right now, kind of the way fodder is going up here in Minneapolis is looking at the massive cap number for tight end T.J. Hawkinson. It's north of 20 this next season. So are you going to restructure that? Are you potentially going to part ways with him? Javon Hargrave in that 15-ish range. There's actually some steam floating around that they were trying to explore potential trades. But that's going to be a tough one. You probably have to keep some salary, and maybe they flip you a 2027 or 8 7th-round draft pick. The concern isn't whether or not they'll get under the cap. It is playing a lot of those games. Running back Aaron Jones only played in 12 games. Soft tissue injuries, missing a handful of games, kind of the story of his career in totality. You can save 6 or 8, piecemeal it together like that. You'll find your way to that 45-ish million that they need to get under. But that does mean then, of course, for a team that has struggled in the draft and a team that's already trying to get under the cap, that you're going to do it at the expense of bodies that creates depth issues at several positions. So it's one of several things we're watching in Minnesota right now.
Well, what do they do at quarterback? Their name's been thrown around with a couple of different quarterbacks that have been available. I think even Anthony Richardson's name was thrown around. Do you think the Vikings are going to bring somebody in to compete with McCarthy?
Yeah, I do, and it's something we were talking about on the show. We went down to Indianapolis earlier this week, did a couple of Combine-specific radio shows, got to talk to head coach Kevin O'Connell, acting general manager Rob Brzezinski as well. And while neither of them were, or anybody at this stage, willing to say that, we're we're neither out nor are we all in on McCarthy. It leaves this massively broad spectrum in terms of what they'll do at the spot. If they bring in, as you mentioned, the idea of competition, well, frankly, I mean, that steam on Anthony Richardson, as you noted, for a guy in J.J. McCarthy who only played in 10 games, only finished 9 of them, the injury issues plaguing his career, both the full rookie season and then last year, to bring in a guy, 4th overall, massively talented. I think he's only played in 17 or 18 games in his career. That would be a massive head-scratcher for me. The other end of the spectrum could be big game hunting of some sort. The Kirk Cousins name has been thrown around. Kind of a long story to shorten it up is there are some intriguing options there in terms of raising the level of the quarterback room. The decision they make will then tell you whether, there is still immense faith that J.J. McCarthy could materialize. But the broad spectrum of what could happen, we spent several days at the Combine. We've been talking it all week, and we're still kind of like anybody on the outside just listening and loving the NFL and sports is Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins. Could we con Derek Carr out of retirement? It's still really, there's no pinpointed aspect of this in which I say, here's 2 or 3 names and watch for them. There truly is myriad possibilities moving forward that'll be fleshed out over the next couple of weeks. But we're all very much still in the dark, especially with some of the changes taking place post-Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah.
But the good news is baseball's about to start, and at least, pitchers are dropping like flies when it comes to the Twins pitching staff. Pablo Lopez went down day 1 with an elbow injury. David Festa, a guy that they were hoping to get something from, high upside guy, he's got a problem. Joe Ryan was scratched. Like, how concerned are we that the pitching is going to be this decimated?
Man, I can't wait to join you someday when I can talk about an incredibly healthy, active, competing Minnesota Twins team. Concerns really high, Soren. You mentioned Pablo, his elbow blows up. And, this going into a team, by the way, that just gets down to Fort Myers at the time with Pablo, and they're just getting pitchers, they've arrived, they've been there, but the hitters arrive. It's first full day. BP's got to leave early. This is on the heels of Byron Buxton kind of, raising some eyebrows, talking about, I've kind of felt weird that the Twins didn't commit to me the same way that they did. David Festa now with the shoulder impingement. Joe Ryan will be fine, just some minor back stiffness. But injuries have been the story of this thing for multiple seasons. A name that I brought up with you before, Royce Lewis, he just had an MRI. He was just doing running drills, and suddenly his right side got sore. So the pitching health is certainly an issue. They'll roll Joe Ryan out as your day 1 starter likely into Bailey Ober. They like this Taj Bradley cat that they traded. One of our best bullpen guys, Griffin Jacks, for him to Tampa, and then a Zebby Matthews maybe in the mix as well. But yes, health concerns. Another season of baseball, another year of optimism, clouded by another series of injuries.
Anthony Edwards hitting a big 3 with a couple of defenders in his face last night. Where are we on the Timberwolves, and are they going to find themselves and be their best version going into the playoffs?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I followed Denver. There's a sneaky fun matchup this weekend where the Wolves are at the Nuggets, and that's a Sunday matinee game, I believe. But this team, the story of the season is going to be inconsistency. The story of the season is going to be a team that thinks they're push button, and maybe they are, maybe they aren't. It feels weird to speak of them in this way, given that they've been to 2 consecutive conference final series. They're still very game in the West. The way that Denver is starting to get healthy, I think you are starting to see a team in the Wolves, for instance, that have won 5 of their last 6 since they picked up Ayo Dosunmu from the Chicago Bulls near the deadline. So this is a team that is brimming with confidence. You still see it on a game-by-game basis, just obliterated by the Sixers over the weekend. This is a team that will rise to the occasion. They're 2-1 against OKC, but then they'll drop a weird one to the Wizards. They'll drop a weird one to non-competitive teams in a conference where the Wolves are in fifth place, just behind the Nugs. They're a game out of 3rd. I don't think anybody's catching the Spurs and Thunder at this stage, but all these games here matter so much, especially this time of the year in this Western Conference where so little separates third spot from 8th or 9th. And the Wolves have failed at every corner, really, to show you that they'll take these games this seriously and that they're as ready and as game as anybody to put themselves in a spot to host a playoff series or two. So I still have faith, given what I've seen in recent times, that this team will be ready by the time the postseason comes along. But it is still this daily sort of conversation about how serious and how consistent can they really be.
Yeah. Do they have a problem, Ant-Man and the head coach? Is this going to be their last dance? Because they seem to spar with each other through the media on a regular basis.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. There have been a ton of writing on this over the last year and a half, and each one of them will say the right things. Ant will say, love Finch. That's just how we communicate. Finch most recently had some comments post-game talking about just they're both competitive, and he didn't take what Anthony said as being mean-spirited. It's all about, people with high egos, high expectations, and sometimes you have to stoke that fire. How many times does this have to be covered and written about? How many instances does this need to occur before you start to question, that fuse is going to run out at some point. That will run its course. Just like any voice in any locker room, right? Not that the coaching's bad, not that the playing's bad, but maybe sometimes that mix just can no longer come together. So for now, I'm still riding with it. I love and respect the heck out of Chris Finch, and I love Ant-Man, but these instances are far too frequent for my liking, and I'm running out of time for those that just want to excuse it as nothing.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think this might be the last go-round for the two of them, and it's usually not the star player that loses if they do end up being one or the other. Eric Norquist in Minneapolis. Great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great weekend.
Yeah, cheers. You too. Take care.
Arkansas, your river's still flowing, is your cotton growing?
JB Berta, you know what? I think about this. I always call him JB. I don't know that I've ever actually had to say his last name. So this is going to be the first time I actually try to pronounce it correctly. Let's see if what kind of grade I get on this. I'm usually going on his show and just say JB, JB Bertaccini, 92 won the ticket in Fayetteville, Arkansas. How'd I do, JB?
I mean, that was pretty good there, Soren. You can call me Josh. Just don't call me late for dinner. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, no, that will never happen. So that was pretty good. It is Chini, not Cini.
Oh, you sound like you could order it at a real Italian restaurant. I give you a pass.
Yeah, I know about Manigot.
Menegatti, pasta fazzullo.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Let's talk about the Razorbacks. How good is this John Calipari-led Arkansas team? Are they a threat to maybe make a run and go all the way to like a Final Four?
Yeah, I mean, look, he brought the Italian flavor, right, with him from Kentucky, and obviously Calipari's been quite the popular guy here the last couple of years. Sweet 16 last year, hard to remember, Soren, that we go back 16 months, and Arkansas was floundering last year, was 1-6 in the SEC, and we all wondered whether this would last very long, but they turned it around. At the end of last year, he went out and did what he does. Right, goes out and adds some McDonald's All-Americans. In they come, and kind of amazing right now to think about the fact that Malik Thomas, who's having a great year, was talked about right there in the same sentence as Darius Acuff coming into the year. But right now, I mean, look, this is an Arkansas Razorback team that is, essentially the Darius Acuff show every time out. Not that Malik Thomas isn't having a really good year. He'll probably be a first-round pick, too. Trevin Brazile playing like a first-round pick. The 7-footer from Springfield MO, not too far from y'all, but he stayed here through a couple of coaching changes, right? From Missouri to Muss to now Musselman goes west to USC, and he's playing for Cal, and he's really become a Cal guy, does all the little things and defends down low and rebounds and has been so much more consistent for Arkansas this year. So, I mean, look, you got 3 first-round picks, and we haven't really started, digging too much deeper into the roster. That's a good thing, Soren, because they don't have a very deep roster. This Arkansas Razorback team is dealing with a couple injuries and the fact that Cal doesn't like to over-recruit because, he's selling guys on highlights and playing for first-round status and getting the big money in the NBA. So the Hogs are probably only 8 or 9 deep, I would say, to start the year when you look back now. And right now, 7 if they're lucky when Isaiah Sealy's healthy or Carter Knox, who just had a meniscus surgery. So look, everybody's playing big minutes. Nobody more than Darius Acuff. Real quick, Soren, just for you and your listeners, some facts here that speak better than anything I can say. 22 points a game. Obviously, we're talking about 6 assists per game, 3 rebounds per game. But the shooting percentages tell the real story, Soren, because he's shooting 50% from the floor. He's shooting 43% from 3 and 80% from the free throw line. That lately, I don't think he's missed a single free throw. That was a little lower. So all of the shooting numbers are high, which means he's efficient. He doesn't take bad shots, and he plays 35 minutes a game. So you got to see it a few games ago against Alabama on ESPN. Everybody talking about it. 49 points. Hogs lost in double OT. That was rare. They've only lost twice in their last 10 games and only once in their last 6. So your initial question, 2+ minutes ago, can they make a Final Four run? Absolutely they can, but they're going to need all 6, 7 guys playing right now to stay healthy, stay out of foul trouble, and then they're going to need favorable matchups because they're very guard-heavy, obviously.
I know you mentioned the case for Acuff to be Player of the Year, and Calipari's been talking about him getting more run for that. But did Calipari sell everybody on Acuff? Did he have any idea that this kid was going to be this good when he signed him?
It's a great question. I think he did because, obviously his evaluation of talent at the high school and college level is historically great. It's really second to none now, let alone ever, if you want to make an argument. But I don't know if he knew he would be this good this fast, right, Soren? So he's built like a grown man, like a Division I, grown man who's a senior or a fifth-year senior, But he's only 18 going on 19 years old. So the physical presence is freakish. And I think once Cal got a feel for that back in September, you could tell his eyes were opened during practice and camp. And then you got to see it in the games, right, to actually believe it. And he's just gotten better and better. And I think Cal keeps expecting more and more out of him. So that was a great question. Did Cal think he'd be this good this fast? I don't know because he's been around so many great players. But when he says now pretty consistently over and over that Darius Acuff is as good pound for pound as anybody he's ever had, it's really starting to feel like reality, Soren, and not just hyperbole,
Yeah, no, it's impressive. They got a big one tomorrow night with Florida. That'll go a long way towards determining the top of the SEC. Give me the early returns on Ryan Silverfield as the football coach. Do they think they got it right now?
You had to take the wind out of our sails a little bit, right? Can't let the Arkansas fans get too excited about their basketball team. But all seriousness, we're still hopeful, I would say. Folks around here are still believing that there can be a change in the culture. But as far as Silverfield being a guy, I'm going to, hop on your show and now, he's going to go 9-3 and this is the right guy. I don't really hear anybody saying that. And I don't even think Arkansas Razorback folks in the know, at the university would tell you, because I haven't heard that he was their first or second pick, but he wanted it. He persevered. Other pieces fell into place, and he jumped right in and obviously was very enthusiastic about the opportunity. So brought a lot of players from Memphis in the transfer portal, was able to get a couple guys to recommit, right? K.J. Jackson, the quarterback, and Quincy Rhodes, the defensive end. So those guys were actually really good last year on a team that struggled a lot. But having them back is huge. He says there's going to be a quarterback competition until the end of August, so somebody who's already not afraid of creating some storylines and a narrative, and he played 2 quarterbacks at Memphis a lot, so at the end of the day, it might be that he just wants 2 guys to be ready. But schedule's tough. It's the SEC. Hogs have been a colossal disaster in football for the better part of the last decade. If they go 6-6 this year, Soren, we're throwing a party in Fayetteville.
I get it. Colossal disaster for the last decade. I love it. That's great stuff. JB in Fayetteville. Appreciate the time, buddy. Have yourself a great weekend.
Talk to you soon, brother. Thank you.
All right, the La Feta Delicatessen, end of the hour answer. Who was the only non-quarterback to throw a touchdown pass to Tony Gonzalez?
Priest Holmes.
You're close. December 14th, 2008, against the San Diego Chargers.
So it's halfback option.
Rolled out to his right, threw a pretty good pass. Of course, Gonzalez, as he often did, went up, pulled it down for a touchdown.
Settle down.
Still drilling. Had to do a reset on the bed there.
I know, I heard that.
Good stuff from our friends, particularly our friends in Arkansas.
Where, in 2008?
Painter.
Oh, Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson.
Not a painter.
He painted.
I think he took up painting right before they told him they're coming to his house with cameras for
He wasn't too
Hard
bad.
Knocks.
I remember that. He was trying to paint something from, I can't remember what he was doing, but it was kind of funny. There was so many fun. If you can find it, just for giggles, just go back and try to find the Hard Knocks for the Chiefs in 07, and just what a crazy group that was. What was going on, and Tank and Turk and Bobby Scipio and Boomer Grigsby and
Was
Larry
it
Johnson's
07 or was it 08?
It was 07.
And that
remember
was
he was holding out.
That was the year they went. They
started off 4-3, and then he got hurt, broke his foot against the Packers, and then they went in the tank.
Yeah. And then they decided to rebuild.
Yeah.
And they really went. And they went 2-14, right? And it ended up with the 5th pick.
Yeah.
That's how top heavy that year was in the NFL. 2-14.
Let me pull that up real quick.
They don't get Matt Ryan who goes 3. They get Glenn Dorsey.
Yeah.
At 5. There's a picture of Glenn Dorsey on the wall here.
Mm-hmm.
One of these. No, maybe it's just on my phone.
I thought it was.
Maybe it's on my phone.
Yeah, they were 4-3 and then lost. Actually, the 2-14 was the year after that. You had it right. Yeah, they were 4-3. Then they lost 8 straight, actually 9 straight. Finished 4-12. And in 2008, who was their top pick in 08? That was who would that have been?
In 08?
Yeah.
That was going into that was Glenn Dorsey at 5.
Yeah. Okay. I got the years crossed.
The 08 draft was really good. They had Glenn Dorsey. They took at number 5. They took Brandon Albert at the pick they got for Jared Allen.
15.
The second round was Brandon Carr.
Brandon Flowers.
Or Brandon Flowers. The 7th was Brandon Carr.
Mm-hmm.
The third round was, I don't remember in what order, but Jamal Charles, Brad Cottam, tight end from Tennessee, who had a bad back. What was the other third? The other third was
defensive
pretty good.
Back from NC State. Wore number 38, I think.
Oh.
Juan Morgan.
Oh, DeJuan Morgan. Okay.
Yeah.
But Brandon Carr, Brandon Flowers.
Will Franklin on the 4th. Carr was actually in the 5th. Barry Richardson and Kevin Robinson in the 6th. Brian Johnson and Mike Merritt in the 7th. But Brandon Flowers was a Pro Bowler.
So was Brandon
Jamal
Carr.
Charles, and Brandon Charles is Chiefs' all-time leading rusher.
Yeah, Jamal Charles, but
what I call him.
And Brandon Charles.
Brandon
Brandon Albert was a guy that they
two-time Pro
franchised.
Bowler.
Didn't they trade him too? Later, get picks for him.
Didn't he go to the Dolphins?
He went to the Dolphins. I can't remember if it was a trade or what, but yeah.
A lot.
That's a pretty good draft.
Not bad.
They knew they were going to be bad. They said they were rebuilding, and then they fired everybody.
Yes.
And they brought in Scott Pioli to fix it all.
Well, they went and got Todd Haley. That's all right.
Tyson Jackson.
Ooh, man. Ew.
Can't stress enough how important that first draft pick is when you're a GM.
I remember that day, because they were still doing the Saturday-Sunday thing, and I was at Arrowhead doing draft stuff, and Jason Anderson was covering Royals. He was at Kaufman, but he was hosting the draft coverage because we were all over the place. And so it was just like, everyone's like, oh, what's it going to be? Tyson Jackson. We all went, what?
What?
That was the year when kind of Twitter began to blow up, so there wasn't a million people on Twitter. Texting Tyson Jackson? Okay. Interesting. Even people in the media room were going, did they just take Tyson Jackson 3?
Who should they have taken?
It's a good question.
I can tell you. Well, let me verify first that I'm a human being.
Same.
Was that 2003?
Mm-hmm.
No, 2000.
It was or not nine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The great Tyson Jackson went ahead of. Wow, you can kind of see why they took him. Maybe Aaron Curry,
who
had 5.5 sacks from Wake Forest, went 4 to the Seahawks. Mark Sanchez went 5. Andre Smith, who wasn't a very good tackle for the Bengals, went 6. Darius Hayward-Bay, 7. Eugene Monroe, tackle. B.J. Radji was probably the guy.
Yeah, if you're looking for a defensive guy.
I mean,
Aaron Maben was.
And Crabtree right after him.
Crabtree, could have taken Crabtree.
Brian Cushing.
Aaron Maben, I'm just looking at like the
other defensive guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian Cushing was pretty good.
Alex Mack at 21, center for the Browns, was like the next best player. That was a bad draft.
It was not good.
It was a bad draft. Maybe you should get off Scott Pioli's ass for once.
Alex Mack, if you sort it by weighted approximate value, he was the second best player in the draft. Some 47 points behind Matthew Stafford.
Well, third best was LaShawn McCoy.
Yep. Second round.
Andy Reid and the Eagles took him.
Clay Matthews.
Jeremy Maclin went 19 in that draft.
Yeah. He ended up being a good player. So there were a few. There were a handful.
Clay Matthews.
Clay Matthews was a good player.
Tyson Jackson, a little further down the list. Top 50, maybe.
No, I don't think so. I'll tell you where he is. Well, no, they don't rank it, do they?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I'd have to count all the way down. He's not top 50.
4, 6, 8,
God.
10, 12.
That was a bad draft.
Yes.
Just to remember, coming out of the gates, here's Scott Pioli. Tyson Jackson at 3. Alex McGee at 67. I can honestly tell you I do not remember who that is.
I remember him, I think. Was he the guy?
What number did he wear? I don't even remember him.
Was he the guy that they took when they had the helmet, got clubbed over the head with the helmet, or clubbed somebody over the head with the helmet?
John Tate. That was Eddie Freeman.
Eddie Freeman. Yeah, that's
that was
right.
back in the
That was
Vermeil
right.
era. No.
I knew it was a second-round pick.
I don't have any idea who the hell Alex McGee
I remember
is.
the name, but I couldn't.
I do not remember the name, but I remember the rest. Donald Washington in the 4th, DB, who did nothing. Colin Brown, tackle from Missouri, who did nothing. Quentin Lawrence. Do you remember Quentin Lawrence, wide receiver? And then 3 7th-round gems. Javaris Williams, Jake O'Connell, and Ryan Suckup.
Yep.
Mr. Irrelevant. They at least got him a kicker. Out of that, you know what they got out of that whole draft? A freaking kicker. That's it. That's what they got.
By the way, Tyson Jackson, 42nd in that group.
No way.
I just went down the list.
I thought he had a 23.
34.
Oh, okay.
Maybe with the Chiefs it was 23.
Well, let's hope it's a better draft than that this year. Because they were picking 3.
It was 23 was his weighted accumulate value for the team that drafted him. He had 23 with the Chiefs.
Alex McGee, we need to hold on here. Alex McGee was their 3rd-round pick at 67, so very high 3rd-round pick because they traded their 2nd. Kyle, hang on.
I can't remember.
Kyle Collier, do you know who they traded their 2nd round? 3rd pick in the 2nd round. So we're talking about pick 35, or maybe it's 34, 36 because there was a tie or whatever. Do you know who they traded their 2nd-round pick for?
No. Give me a hint.
He works in broadcasting now. He did not start in college. He
Position, side of the ball.
Offensive side of the ball.
Oh, wow.
you saw it?
I had to say, who was
Forgot about that, huh?
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Initials are MC.
Actually, he was one of 2 people acquired.
Yeah.
For that pick.
Also
The other one's
acquired.
interesting.
Also acquired with that pick is the head coach of the New England Patriots now. Who's that?
I have no idea.
You don't know who the head coach of the Patriots
I know
is?
Mike Vrabel is.
Okay, so they got
The
Mike
other guy.
Vrabel and this other guy, MC.
Lineman, running back?
Nope.
Offensive.
Matt Castle.
Matt Castle and Mike Vrabel.
Yikes.
Hey, Matt Castle led him to a division title. But
Did he? Did he though?
He was good. He was 27-7 that year.
He did. He has
I don't know how.
become
That
the
was
basis for
all
the sun shines on a dog's ass every
Yes.
once in a while.
And that highlighted the greatness of Charlie Weiss as a play
Yes.
caller, I think, more than anything.
Yes, I would agree. All right, we'll take a break. You're the program. How about this for a mock draft?
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk some football, talk some basketball with Kevin Harlan coming up here in a minute. Now I lost it. Hang on, let me just go forward one. Looking at, NFL.com has a bunch of mock drafts.
Mm-hmm.
What if the Chiefs take with the 9th overall selection, Caden Proctor.
Will not be a popular pick. But could it be the right pick?
I mean,
Could be.
I'll be interested to see what his testing numbers end up being and everything, but a 6'7", 366-pound tackle, I don't mind it. I don't mind protecting Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I don't mind trying to knock some people off the ball. I just don't know. He's going to have to be.
Run game.
He's going to have to show that he's fairly agile.
Yeah.
To go up that high. But I feel like that's when you trade down to 20 and take that kid. But maybe I'm wrong. If he runs a good 40, he's going to go up high. He played left tackle at Alabama. That's a pretty good place to start. We'll take a break. Need to know. Then Kevin Harlan next.
All right, who's the only man to catch 2 perfect games in the major leagues? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Fourth quarter of the program begins right now as we finish strong here on a Friday. Hour number 20 of the week. Still to come. Still, Kevin Harlan, the great Kevin Harlan, will join us shortly. Looking forward, as always, to talking to Kevin Harlan. Always a good day when you get a chance to talk to Kevin Harlan. So there you go. We mentioned one of the mock drafts that's out there. Matt Miller, NFL draft analyst for the ESPN. He was talking on the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick asked Miller who the best player in the draft is, regardless of position.
Jeremiah Love, running back, Notre Dame. I don't think it's particularly close. And, I don't think it's close. I mean, what he did the last 2 years at Notre Dame was phenomenal. I mean, he has the Notre Dame record for most touchdown runs over 90 yards. He had a 98-yard touchdown run against Indiana a year ago. He had a 94-yard touchdown run this year. And he's 214 pounds.
But let's compare him, though, Matt. If I'm going to compare him to Saquon Barkley coming out of Penn State.
It'd be close. They would be 1A, 1B as prospects. I think he's right there with Bijan Robinson and Saquon as the best running back prospects of the last 10 years. Better than Genty because he catches the ball better. You watch him against Arkansas, he catches 2 touchdown passes. One is a legitimate route. These are not swing passes. He's flexing out and running routes and catching touchdown passes. So it's just so easy to see exactly how he'll fit into an NFL offense.
Okay. That's pretty high praise.
Glowing praise, yeah.
Right? He's talking about him being basically about as good a running back prospect as come out of late. Now, here's one more. Patrick asked Miller what the range is for where Miller thinks he'll get drafted.
I think the floor is Kansas City at 9.
Yeah.
So 3 to 9 is probably where he's at. And being here for 2 days now, I can tell you one thing I hear from everyone else in the NFL is, please do not let Jeremiah Love fall to Kansas City. Don't let that happen. Do not give Patrick Mahomes Jeremiah Love, which, in fairness, we heard the same thing about Xavier Worthy, and it really hasn't made that much of a difference. So I think Kansas City has bigger issues than just, giving Patrick Mahomes a generational running back talent.
You think he's going one place, and the league's like, don't let him fall to Kansas City. Don't let him fall to Kansas City. But Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, he makes a good point. I don't remember everybody saying, don't let Xavier Worthy go to the Chiefs.
No.
Unless it was somebody here in Kansas City.
Yep. I remember the reaction of at least one Vikings fan when Clyde Edwards-Helaire was drafted 32, and he's like, that's it. It's over. Super Bowl. Now, that didn't work out what they had hoped either, so.
Yeah, that's a good point. How about Texas A&M wideout Casey Concepcion? He talked about his interaction with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I had a pretty good meeting with the Chiefs. Again, they brought up my versatility. That they showed me plays. Inside receiver, outside receiver. Running back. Throwing the ball. So I'm a level. Casey. Is my name. So Casey and Casey. It kind of has like a little ring to it.
5'11", 190.
I've
seen that guy before.
He's not going at 9.
No,
but they need a wideout.
Yeah, I watched him against Missouri, and man, he can get open. He can get open, and he's electric when he gets the ball. So,
how about Mekhi Lemon, the USC wide receiver? He was asked, now think about this: what 3 NFL quarterbacks he'd love to catch passes from?
Probably say Caleb Williams would be cool, former teammate. Probably go Aaron Rodgers would be cool. He a GOAT, he a legend. One more, I'll go Jaden Daniels.
Not Patrick Mahomes.
Off my board.
I saw somebody else say that. Someone else told me, they said, it just sounds like a guy who's trying to think of 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, it does. Let's see. Marino, Tittle.
Seaboldt.
I think it's a good way to put it. I mean, but you get it.
Who do I know? Yeah,
you get put in that spot.
I'm sure Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams are around his age. He played. Williams went to USC. I get that.
Yeah. How about Diego Pavia, the quarterback from Vanderbilt? It doesn't appear that he's changed much. He said he'll throw for scouts tomorrow. Quote, one thing about me is I don't care what people think. Pavia led the Commodores to a 10-3 record for the first 10-win season in school history. Criticism of him, he said, is the product of the media generating what he described as clickbait.
I don't care what people think about you. You might want to care what GMs think about you.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It might be something to think about.
His reaction to the Heisman balloting, he posted a message that included F all the voters on social media.
So there you go. I've had a Heisman Trophy runner-up F me.
Yep.
Because I have one of the votes.
Yep. There you go.
So
he threw down.
I mean, shouldn't he have checked that I actually had him first?
Should have.
I mean, should I get lumped in with everybody else?
Yeah. I mean, he didn't explicitly say that the people who voted for him.
It should have been
are an exception.
For all the Heisman voters who didn't vote for me.
Asterisk.
You didn't do a good enough job of raising his case, I guess.
Asterisk. Who didn't vote for me?
I can't talk about my vote. You can't do that until after the fact.
True story.
You know, the thing. Basketball coming up this weekend. Mizzou -1.5 at Mississippi State, noon on the SEC Network. Kyle, who do you got?
I'm taking Mizzou.
Kurtis?
Same.
I'll take Mizzou. Kansas at Arizona, 8.5-point favorite are the Wildcats 3P. You'll hear it here on 810. Who you got, Kyle?
Arizona.
I think it's Arizona comfortable or Kansas wins by 3.
All right, and finally TCU -3.5 at K-State. Who you got, Kyle?
Give me the Cats.
No,
give me TCU.
Cats
You take
unbettable
TCU?
at this point, TCU.
Cats unbettable.
But the one thing I guarantee is that he'll be talked about. Driscoll will talk about Tang after the game.
I can't remember if I need him to win a game from our There Can Be Only One or not. Anyway, Harlan's next.